Cat fight happening upstairs. Oh no. It's okay, Baja's on the case. We're on a hype train. We have 2 minutes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another stream. I hope you're doing well. Today we're doing Chud Watch. Let's see what we got going on. Meru-sama, thanks for subscribing for 12 months. As a whole year, insane. It feels like I joined the awesome community only yesterday. Thanks for doing what you do, Hannah. Also, I choose you over Jake. Yeah, that's my bad. Jake started his stream like 2 minutes before I started mine, and I didn't even notice that I didn't know he had plans to stream today this early, because he normally streams later. So, whoopsie doopsie. I guess you gotta go back and forth or pick. Hydrate? Okay. We completed level 1 of the hype train. Xenon Eczema. Wait, did I already... Nope, that's the most up to date? Okay, I gotta go from the back. Sorry. Citosaurus with 100 bits says, working from home while my dog's sitting so I can catch alive. So I get to catch alive. Well, I'm glad you can watch live today. Mark81, thanks for subscribing with Prime. 11-month streak. Chicken Side Eye with 100 bits, thank you. One Chubba Hubba with 100 bits says biddies. Xenon Eximer, thanks for subscribing with Prime with a 4-month streak. Citisaurus, thanks for 20 bits, and that catches us up. We are at 13% of the level 2 hype train. So, any Chuds talking about Israel and Palestine or the Cheney expulsion? I'm not well, I guess I don't know if they come up in at least one of the things that I'm going to be talking about, but I don't think so. Today I have Bryson Gray, who did a whole live stream call-in show, and I'm just curious what I imagine they're all supporters of his, so I'm curious how that's going to go. And it feels like sort of a desperate attempt to stay relevant, considering his entire brand is based off of being a Trump supporter, and it's 2021. So, thought we'd take a look at that. Elliot Hulse has a video about Beware the New World Order, so he's going full conspiracy theorist. Lucas Werner. I don't know if this guy counts as a chud, but I wanted to cover him because I find him to be interesting. We've covered him, I think, once before, but it was a long time ago. This guy, at least according to the video I watched earlier, claims he's into Marxists, so maybe this would, like, be more appropriate for Tanky Thursday or something, but I kind of wanted to cover this guy, so we're gonna watch him today anyway. 1 minute cleanse before we begin? Sure. We have 2.5 minutes left on the hype train, by the way, and we're at 14% of level 2. Blackwing Hecate says, earlier, I confused McCain's daughter for Liz Cheney. I'm disappointed with myself. It's okay. We also have Conservapedia readings and right-wing cope and stuff like that, too, that we're going to take a look at. Did I hear about poor Necosaurus? Got a community guideline strike on Twitch and is banned from Twitch for like a week because he responded to someone saying that rubber bullets don't hurt anyone, showed a pic of them and got a strike for gore. Yeah, gotta be careful with that. That's really, really unfortunate, but Twitch is pretty strict when it comes to that kind of thing. Like if I needed to illustrate something like that to someone, I'd probably show it off stream if I was talking to someone, but I wouldn't show it on the stream just because, yeah. Gore is... They got a pretty itchy ban finger or suspend finger when it comes to that kind of stuff. Jillyfoo says, aw heck, Chud Island ho. 20% of level 2 with only a minute left. This hype train might die in the cradle. Which happens, that's okay. They can't all be level 5ers. So what have you guys been up to? Baja just got here. I'm very excited to see her. After stream, we're just gonna like hang out, watch movies probably. It's gonna be a good day. One Speedy Yoshi says, did you know female hyenas have pseudopenises? Also, can we do right-wing cope first? Sure, that's fine. I didn't know about the pseudopenises. 30 seconds left of the hype train. Kirthan, thank you for the 100 bits, says, save the hype train. Blackwing Hecate says, oh whoa. Thank you, Sushi Mom. I appreciate that. Fryzerburn says, hype train woo. Stonecore Bell says, here's a hype. Chicken Side-Eye with 200 bits. 10 seconds left and we're at like 80%. I don't think we're gonna do it. Stonecore Bell, thanks for subscribing with 11 months. Andrew Batello with 100 bits. Thank you. Wow, we only got to level 1. Thank you, everyone, for the support. I appreciate it. Maybe we'll have a second opportunity later in the stream to kill a level 5. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Did anyone else get, the Mass Effect Special Edition that came out? Crazy nostalgia. Chicken Side-Eye, thanks for 100 bits. You did, Xandris? What do you think? I'm enjoying it so far. The first game's gameplay definitely hasn't aged super well. I'll give you that, but I'm having fun. considering I played it as a kid. I'm very excited to get through 1 so I can get to 2, because Mass Effect 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. One Speedy Yoshi says, what do you think of the new Pog? I know someone were being chuddy and hating on it. It's because it's, why are they hating on it? It's just like a lizard or something? Is the Pog champ? That's fine. Blackwing Hecty says, I got it for my GPD Windows Win 3. I don't know what that means. GPD Win 3. Those are things. Xandra says, I'm playing tonight on stream, so I've been good and not touched it. Alright. That's cool. Jake is streaming now too, that might be why audience is splitting, yeah. Yep. Morok says, just missed it. Anyway, would it be okay for me to share my GoFundMe again? Tesla is threatening to fire me, so my ability to survive is plummeting very quickly, and any help would greatly be appreciated. Of course. Go ahead and post your GoFundMe. N-Block says, just got my first vaccination dose, Moderna gang. Good. Good for you. We gotta get more memes for the D&D stream. So you gotta be healthy so you can meme. I'm winning at the moment, 129 to 119. Take that, Jake. One of my closest friends. My oldest friend who I've known for over a decade. I beat you in arbitrary numbers. He'll go up there eventually. He has way more followers than me. Have I gotten Resident Evil 8? No, I doubt I will. With the exception of if later on it gets like VR support with PlayStation VR. Because I really liked Resident Evil 7 VR. But I don't have an interest in playing a survival horror game just like normally. So I'm going to wait till I get a PlayStation 5. And until they release the PlayStation VR 2, and then if they do support for Resident Evil 8 like they had for 7, then I'll play it. You chose me over Jake, I appreciate it. I'm sure there's people in Jake's chat saying they chose him, so... I don't like step on me, mommy. I'm not, I don't know. I don't have any strong feelings either way about the... giant vampire lady. Like, right on. That's great. I don't know. Maybe she's not my type. She is 9 feet tall. Yeah, I'm not necessarily into tall people. I don't know. It's not that I'm into short either. It's just like I don't really care about people's height. After a certain point, it just becomes an inconvenience. Ashy Boo says, "Hey Hannah, you look great today. I have you on my phone and Jake on TV. The vaccine is kicking my ass, but I'm glad to watch my favorite streamers." Yeah, that second dose can be a bitch. I was also kind of suffering after my second one, but I'm all good now. I think I have 7 more days until I'm fully... Until the vaccine takes full effect, basically. It takes 2 weeks after the second dose, so 7 more days, and then I'm free. Sage Morningstar, thanks for 200 bits. Pronounce her name. It's Dimitrescu. Dimitrescu. I don't know. Yep, 7 days. Cool. How's Cassia doing, Baja? Dimmadome. I'm Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Demetresk. Did Cassia get an owie? Her butt is not looking great. Alexa... Alexa, play Smash Mouth, says, "Thanks for the content. I choose this over Peter's political perspective." Alexa, play All-Star by Smash Mouth. Does that actually trigger anyone's, or it's gotta be a voice match, probably? Alexa, play Despacito. Alexa, order corn. Alright, I'm done. I'm done. See, this is why Android is the master race, okay? My Google knows better. Okay, I guess we should probably actually do stuff, shouldn't we? So let me see, I already went over Bryson, Elliot, Lucas Werner, and I was asked to do right-wing cope first, so we can do that. Woo. Let me turn this music off, and then we'll be good. Alright, let's start today with some right-wing cope. Let's take a look at how they're dealing. I think today is supposed to be the last day of that Arizona audit. That the... what were they called? They were called Code Ninjas or something? I don't remember, but right-wingers basically hired a company owned by a QAnon supporter to do a, quote, forensic audit of the Maricopa County election. And they were looking for things like, how do I explain this? They were looking for ridiculous conspiracy things to try and throw out ballots. For instance, they said at one point... yeah, I know, chat, don't diss Jake. Jake's great. Jake's one of my closest friends. Come on. Now I lost my train of thought. Shit. Okay, oh, the Chinese bamboo paper, that's what it is, right? Okay, so they were looking for fraudulent ballots, and they think Joe Biden lost the election, even though he didn't, even in that county. So they're trying to look for reasons to throw out ballots and say that they're illegitimate, and one of the things they were looking for was apparently bamboo fibers in the paper because they're racist and think if the election was stolen by China, then they must have printed those ballots in China, and as we all know, everyone in China carries around bamboo scraps around with them at all times. So, that's the level of competency they are dealing with. I don't know if any of the audit stuff will come up in any of this right-wing cope, but I just wanted to talk about something that's going on today, and yeah, today I think is the last day for that, so. They're actually looking for Cheeto dust Trump left on all the valid ballots. That's true. Trump personally blessed them all. If you smell it, you can still smell the faint odor of a Diet Coke can mixed with Adderall sweat. Alright, let's do some right-wing cope. Oh no! Oh no. Look at oh my no. Oh no. This car makes me feel a lot of feelings about a lot of things. And those feelings aren't positive. I gotta watch this PragerU video. Apparently 2 + 2 = 4 is racist. Ever notice how dogs only come in male and female? Oh my goodness. And cutting the balls off doesn't make it female? It's almost like dogs don't have gender. Weird. It's almost like dogs have sex, but not necessarily gender. This is a conversation we're going to be having for the next 50 years. So, look forward to that. How to get your car vandalized. If you vandalize that car, good luck. That's an expensive car. That's going to be a lawsuit. And also, you shouldn't vandalize other people's cars, even if you disagree with them politically. How about that? Einstein was an intellectual. They all live in their heads and hate physical work, so socialism would let him study and learn without having to support himself doing labor. Intellectuals love socialism. My God, this is beautiful, it says. Imagine making an argument that socialism is bad. First of all, his entire argument is completely out there and has nothing to do with Einstein. But let's take the internal universe of this argument at face value, okay? And not actually get into criticizing the fact that it doesn't make sense on the face of it. But his argument is that socialism would allow Einstein to exist and develop his understanding of, like, general and special relativity. And they're framing this as if it would be a bad thing? They're framing the idea that Einstein can make the greatest scientific discovery in the field of physics of the 20th century. That's bad. I guess the only kind of labor that exists is the kind of labor that destroys your body. Clearly, someone who mines coal for a living has a greater impact than Albert Einstein. Did I see MTG's weird harassment of AOC? I did. She's gross. One Speedy Yoshi says, last of my bits, who's going to take the initiative and run into that car and destroy it? Not while anyone's in it, of course. Also, that dog one. You agree sex doesn't equal gender because the dog doesn't change. Good. How progressive. And Ashiboo says, we have a nice big fat frontal lobes that dogs don't have. Wowie wow. Oh no. Propaganda. Oh no. Oh, look at what the guy's shirt says. Oh God. Yikes. Newsmax hosts, if you're Jewish and you're a Democrat and you're living in America today, how do you support an administration that turns its back on your home country? What? Do they think that everyone who's Jewish in America somehow comes from Israel?
As I talk about what's happening in Israel,
the modern state of Israel, I'm not talking about the origin of Hebrews as a whole. I'm talking about the fact that we're talking about the modern nation of Israel.
Right now, folks, one of the biggest problems is that America is weak. I told you none of this would have ever happened under President Trump, and didn't. Well, a friend of this program, Rabbi Shmuley, really went public today in a big way, denouncing the Biden administration and Joe Biden's response to what's going on. Listen to Rabbi Shmuley, who is in New York.
Where is President Biden to show moral leadership? Where is President Biden to show moral courage that the United States stands with those who fight for freedom and not for terrorists?
I try not to talk about the whole Israel-Palestine thing in too much detail, just because I don't know where the... Like, I think you all know... Can I even talk about talking about this? I just try and stay away from it. How about that? You can probably guess my opinion on it. I don't know. Pyromancer says, hey, they're calling him president. That's progress. Hey, you know what? I'll take it.
Well, he talks about moral courage. It is something, sadly, that Democrats do not have. And I would ask you, if you are Jewish and you are a Democrat and you are living in America today, how do you support an administration that turns its back on your home country? I do not understand it.
The conflation of all Jewish people, like both religious and if we're talking about like ethnic Judaism, and conflating them with Israel in general is, again, I'm talking about the modern state of Israel, pretty gross.
Israel is our one true ally in the Middle East. Without it, we would be devastating. The world would be in a chaos like you have never seen before. Israel provides stability to a region that is in absolute chaos. It's time.
Boy, it's almost like that chaos is caused by, you know, after World War II and stuff, a bunch of arbitrary borders being developed by Western nations who didn't really know the groups of people who lived there, and then also, you know, moved a bunch of... No, I can't... And then moved a bunch of Palestinians off of their land unfairly so they could... End of conversation. We're done talking about this.
And now we support Israel. President Trump
will not be Voshed. I guess even Vosh is back on Twitch now, so that's good. Anyway, Tucker White says, even if I was Jewish, why would I be required to care about a strip of land no bigger than Maryland? Pyromancer says, just because I have Irish-Italian ancestry doesn't mean I have to go defend them. Profane Priestess says it's hard to talk critically about Israel government because Nazis. Yeah. Like anti-Semites and shit have made it so difficult to have a reasonable conversation about the role of, like, modern-day Israel and the whole situation with Palestine. It's tough. Johnny Dice, thanks for subscribing for 2 months, says, you're a content machine, Hannah. Thanks for helping to keep my girlfriend and me sane during the pandemic. Of course. Thanks for watching. Healthcare, please. No. Lower taxes. And then missiles and stuff. What the fuck? I still hate commies, even after they changed their name to liberals. Wowzers. Comprehensive sex education pushes off a cliff into anal sex, masturbation, abortion, oral sex, and gender identities. Comprehensive sex education is rad as fuck. Tucker White says, could you imagine this argument making sense if you swapped Israel and Jewish people for Germany and people of German ancestry, like myself in this case? Yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
So it's not a when it comes to land.
Oh yeah, Yang did a yikesy tweet about the Israel situation. Israel demands correction from Sanders. It only killed 532 Palestinian children in the summer of 2014. Glad that correction could be made. Let's take a look at some right-wing watch videos, shall we?
ID because they know if there was
1 second.
voter ID, they don't want voter ID because they know if there was voter ID, they'd lose, just like they lost last time. Okay.
I also, among the voter ID stuff that they talk about, I find it funny because it wouldn't even solve the problem that they're alleging is happening. Because according to, like, QAnon-type people, they don't necessarily think that it was, like, you know, millions and millions of people walking into a place of voting and voting fraudulently. They think that somewhere along the chain of custody that, like, a deep state cabal or something similar, like, snuck in a bunch of ballots or had them changed digitally or some other bullshit nonsense conspiracy stuff, none of which would be mitigated by voter ID. So I don't even understand, I mean, I do understand, but their cover story for why they want to make it more difficult for people to legitimately vote is poor and falls on its face when you think about it for even 5 seconds compared to what they're actually claiming they think happened in 2020.
Okay? Just like, and by the way, if a pipeline can be hacked, you're telling me an election can't be hacked?
Those are obviously the very same thing.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, I heard about the Surus situation. It sucks. Have I checked out No New Normal? Yeah, it's awful.
Rome is burning. While Rome is burning, well, you can't even go to the gas station.
I wish I had a fiddle. Will this do?
Right now and get gas. But you're telling me, hey, just don't say anything controversial, Pastor Todd. Don't say anything controversial. Be careful. Really? Well, that's how we got to this mess that we're in right now, where they're calling guys girls and girls guys. That's how we got to this mess. We're trying to shoot you with chemicals. Tell you that you can't travel if you don't do it. Show me your papers. Vaccine passport. Are you
Yeah, get a vaccine. Do it. It'll be good for you. Tiger White says, because they get endless shit if they came out and said, we just don't want 7-letter word starting with N voting. Yeah. Blackwing Hecate says, it was a liar, not a fiddle. I guess that makes me a liar. Yeah.
kidding me? Are you kidding me? No, we were.
What about Cirrus? Cirrus got a temporary suspension from Twitch earlier for showing, I think someone said it was, like, someone was arguing that rubber bullets don't cause damage, and then Cirrus pulled up a picture of someone who had been shot with a rubber bullet, which is gore. Yeah, you can't do that. Twitch is pretty strict on gore policies. Ashy Boo says, as a fellow kazooer, keep following your kazoo dreams. Blackwing Hecate says, a liar and a player, too.
We were made for a time as this, to take a stand. We were made for a time as this. Is Joe Biden's America, but really, this is the enemy's America, and what we're seeing right now. He's trying to play his last stand, his last hurrah. Trying to make it like it's the end times right now, but he's overplayed his hand.
You're the one who's claiming that it's, like, Rome and it's on fire. What do you mean Joe Biden is making it like the end times? You're literally saying that. What do you mean? Oops, didn't mean to do that.
It's important for any movement to have both extremes and the moderates, because the people on the extreme, they force the establishment to negotiate with the moderates, right? So if we're in if we're the moderates, if we're in the middle, if we're advocating peaceful means to transform the country, the establishment is going to have to negotiate with us because they don't want to negotiate with the people who are advocating violence. And that's just how society works.
Ooh. Pyromancer says, nothing like some enlightened centrism. Yeah, it's not generally a good idea to go on your podcast and say that the parts of your movement that call for, like, murdering your political enemies, it's not generally good to say that those are, like, valuable members of your community. Just saying. Sorry, I'm trying to scrunch my hair up as it dries.
It's necessary to have the extremes. It's necessary to have people that are, calling for violence. I'm not saying that we should, but those people force the establishment to negotiate with rational people like us who are nonviolent. It's important for
rational
any movement.
They're QAnon believers. They're not rational.
And they say they don't go after, they will hack the systems of a major corporation, and they say they don't go after religious groups or government entities or infrastructure, although oil and gas kind of is infrastructure. Sorry. Okay. They say they don't do that. They just go after major corporations, and they say they are apolitical. They're not tied with any government or political group, which I don't believe. Okay, I believe these are Democrats. I believe they're basically Antifa hackers. That's my personal opinion.
These dang Antifa hackers! Great. Tiger White says, by the way, where is this far-left commie Joe Biden that these chuds claim that Biden is? He's a shadow Biden, okay? When Joe Biden sleeps, commie Biden raids the White House kitchen fridge, okay? He's just biding his time. 3 years in, he's gonna snap. And it's gonna be like the Cultural Revolution all over again.
Want us dependent on them. They want us. These cyber attacks are going to make COVID-19 in this past year feel like a cakewalk. So we better get used to it because those are coming. They want us crippled.
It's always interesting to me how these, like, alt-right, super right-wing fringe media, whatever, that look like news, it's almost like Uncanny Valley, and that they almost look like a real news production, but they're just off enough that it looks like they're shooting it in, like, their parents' house with a green screen. But, like, it's almost there. I feel like if we just got boomers' glasses, they'd maybe see things in sharper definition and realize that this is, like, sus. but they see things so blurry because they're old and their eyes don't work that this is enough to be like, yeah, this looks like a news show. Blackwing Hecate says, you're not me, Biden to shadow Biden, probably.
They want us dependent on them. They want us locked down either through COVID or by these security hacks, cybersecurity hacks. They want us out of gas. Even Gavin Newsom said he wants everybody in California to stop driving cars in the next 5 years. I mean, this is a planned attack if I've ever seen one.
He probably said something along the lines of increasing usage of bikes and vehicles that use renewable energy like electric cars or hydrogen fuel cell cars. I kinda doubt he directly said everyone should stop driving in the next 5 years. Solomon52, thank you for subscribing with 7 months.
And of course, Right Wing Watch is going to be calling me a conspiracy theorist, a right-wing QAnon expert. Why? Because
I don't think they'd call you an expert. I think they'd probably just call you a conspiracy theorist.
they don't want people to listen to this. They don't want people to wake up to this. They don't want to know that it's a deep state agenda or want people to give this any credence. But until it's too late, and by then they'll be sitting on their floor with no gasoline, eating worms, because that's also what they want us to do, right? They want us to just eat worms and plants instead of meat.
Worms would be meat. Meat, I guess, is technically... worms are alive, but I guess what they mean is that they're not, like red meat? I don't know, whatever. Okay, fine. Does she think that the only options are either a steak or worms? Does she not know that there are other in-betweens? Vegetables? I don't know. Pyromancer says, deep state is just a psyop to distract from the shallow state. The state goes in, the state goes out. Can't explain that. Tucker White 94 rather says, could you imagine what these chuds would say about Gerald Ford during the oil crisis? Also, I wonder if the guy, gay, non-binary pal who watches all these chuds for Right Wing Watch marked out when this chick mentioned Right Wing Watch. I know that multiple times she's brought up Right Wing Watch and they post it, so I think they find it pretty funny. Casual Snark says, to quote the old Missing Persons song, Nobody Walks in L.A., worms are meat. Yes.
Tom Hanks.
Oh god, it's another one of these people. QAnon.
Tom Hanks is dead. Newsflash. Tom Hanks is dead.
That's right.
Okay? Joe Biden is dead.
Yes.
Okay.
Come on. You took the shot.
Clintons are dead. Okay.
Yes.
You got clones running this country.
Right.
Sidosaurus, thanks for the 100 bits.
Right.
See, I got the testicular fortitude to say what needs to be said. Why? Because I'm a man of God.
Amen. You have to. Truth.
You got these punctified well, I don't want to lose my 501c3.
Oh,
Bishop, so we have to use wisdom. Stop, okay? You need to sit down and shut up.
Yes. That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Trump is surrounded by the military at Mar-a-Lago.
Yes. That's
Trump has the nuclear codes.
No, he doesn't. Those are transferred to Joe Biden at noon on January 20th.
Trump has the military.
Logarth says pure unadulterated crazy is stored in the balls, apparently. Where else would you put it? In your brain? Don't be stupid.
Who turned their back on Joe Biden.
That's right. That's right.
And Trump...
That's an interesting claim that they tend to make, too, about the inauguration. There were both security, or I shouldn't just call them security. There were military personnel who were both looking at Joe Biden, but there were other people who were looking away from him. And some of these QAnon crazies were like, oh my god, they're looking away from him. They're disrespecting him. That must mean that he's not really the president, yada, 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 yada. When really, it's just, if you think about it for 5 seconds, they're guarding him. They're not all supposed to be staring at him the whole time. Half of them were looking outward to see, what there is to see and make sure no one's trying to run up on the president. And the other people were looking at the president. It's not a new thing. Casual Snark says, clone Schmoan. Oh, clone Schmoan, as long as they do a better job than the last administration. Agreed.
has Air Force One. Patriots,
Come on.
QAnons, President Trump is still the president.
I find it funny that some of the right-wingers are actively being like, Joe Biden is the worst president ever. Look at the gas prices. Look at this. Look at that. Look at whatever. It's so terrible. This is a nightmare. And then the other half are like, no, Donald Trump is still president. So if Donald Trump is still president, is he to blame for all the things that the right perceives to be the fault of Joe Biden, or what? One Speedy Yoshi says, isn't it illegal for churches, actual churches, not fake online ministries, to push political messages? I thought God's Not Dead 2 brought this up with the mayor wanting the priest's sermons. It is against rules to be a 501c3 church and to preach politics. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It happens all the time. The enforcement on it is very low. But yes, it is technically against the rules if you are tax exempt to preach politics from the pulpit. Tucker White says, I mean, Bill Clinton is probably legally a zombie now, and I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Biden had actual clones, but what advantage would there be to pretending Biden's dead, especially when the DNC is clearly grooming Kamala for the presidency? Oh, Kamala, sorry. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me. Like, it wouldn't matter if Joe Biden was a clone, because that's not how clones work anyway. I don't even understand. Who makes a clone, but makes the clone like 100 years old? Waste of a clone, okay? You're gonna clone someone, make a young Joe Biden. Him and Corn Pop's clone can get together and beat up ISIS or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what Corn Pop's skill set is.
16, before Trump was elected. The Lord gave me a fascinating dream where, I'll just describe this briefly as I can. In the dream, people had to make a decision, and they could either decide in favor of Trump or they could decide against Trump. And in the dream, I decided in favor of Trump, and I was transported into another dimension. So I was in another world. I was in another dimension, and I stepped into this world and I was walking around, and there was no poverty. There was no sickness. There was no homelessness. There was everywhere I went.
Because as we all know, under President Trump, there was no poverty or sickness. Those definitely aren't two things that became defining features of the final year of Trump's presidency.
There was lavish abundance. I couldn't see any crime.
As we all know, crime happens openly on the street at all times. It's like a Spider-Man from the 60s. There are just people in ski masks who walk around and roam the streets for old ladies with purses that they can snatch, okay? If you don't actively see a purse snatching happening in front of you right now, does crime even exist? Color by Emmy says, or clone Hunter Biden and release those giant dongs into the world. The world can't handle that much giant dong. CoolCat1256 says, it's a known fact the cloning process is unstable and the faulty genetics cause premature aging. Tuba Steve, thank you for subscribing for 5 months. MMO Addicted says, wait, Corn Pop, Jake, Corn Suit, it all makes sense now. Profane Priestess says, clones an 8th level spell, meaning Biden has at least 15 levels in Wizard. Pretty impressive. He also needs a 1 by 1 square inch piece of flesh and some sort of sarcophagus. And I think 1,000 gold. And I think it takes a year to grow. I think I remember that off the top of my head.
But I was walking around talking to people like, where are the homeless people? Where are the shootings? Where's all the chaos and mayhem? It was the most incredible place to be. And everyone had enough. Everyone's needs were met. Like I said, no sickness, no homelessness. It was like
Boy, it's almost like the government should work to try and relieve poverty and crime and homelessness. Weird. Casual Stark says the keyword here is dream.
We were living in God's kingdom on earth.
You're basically
In
just trying to
August
describe
of
a
2016.
world with a functional government that helps its citizens. Good job. And you voted for the guy who's literally the opposite of that, so that's fun.
There's been a lot of signing of petitions and accountability they're calling for the prophets. I have no problem with the statement of accountability in the prophetic. I have no problem with the statement to identify prophets and what they are and false prophets. What I have a problem with is their statement or their stance. A lot of times people, they're standing, it's amazing, nobody wrote a letter and thanked me for all the years that I prophesied the other presidents and even President Trump. And no, but soon as something didn't look like it happened, boy, they jump on the bandwagon to attack you. And my question is, how many of those...
When you don't hit anybody on the road while you're driving, no one thanks you. But all of a sudden I start a 17-car pileup with my lies, and then everybody freaks out. This guy claims to be a prophet and was wrong about his prophecy that Trump would get a second term. And he's getting shit talked about it. Tucker White says, to be fair, Hannah, we also voted for a guy who's the opposite of that. We're doing our best. Profane Priestess says, describes a communist utopia, is conservative. Make it make sense. They don't know what they want. They just know their identity, and their identity is that they're right-wing. They're a Republican. And Republicans hate socialism or communism or anything left of authoritarianism. MMO Addicted says, oh god, it makes even more sense. Corn pop. What do Michiganders call soda? Pop. What is Hannah drinking right now? Pop. Corn pop. Jake and Hannah. Jake and Hannah are the deep state. That's true. You caught us. I already revealed I'm a lizard person, so... Mike Mack says, add a clone slave race to the Illuminati plan with a nuke. Why the flying F does the Illuminati need a virus and fake being in the shadows if they have the technology to destroy the Earth and restore it and repopulate it? Yeah, the all-powerful, invisible government thing never made a whole ton of sense to me.
People that are attacking, are you a prophet? So how can you, the Bible says in 1 Corinthians 14 that the prophets are to judge the prophets. That's what it says. If a prophet is to prophesy, okay, let the others judge the other prophets. That's what he was speaking about.
The Bible also says you'll know a false prophet because their prophecies won't come true. Your prophecy didn't come true. You're a false prophet. Sorry. I don't make the rules. Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ does.
And so, are they prophets? Do they stand in a fivefold office of a prophet? Second, do they have a positional grace and an authority by God? Just because you're a prophet doesn't mean that you might be called to be a prophet to the nation. Okay, there's different rank and file and responsibilities that are given to the prophets or to any fivefold office. And so you look at the list of people. Are they prophets? Yes or no? Second, if they are prophets, have they been assigned by Jesus, the Lord of the church, this is a holy thing, to prophesy to a nation? There's been a lot.
That's a lot of words for stop making fun of the fact that my prophecies don't come true. Blackwing Hecate says, you thatch 100 roofs and they call you Carl the Thatcher? No. You make 1,000 swords and they call you Carl the Swordsmith? No, but you fuck one goat.
Astonishing to see people that I...
Religious right commenter Eric Metaxas says that any Christian who claims to be apolitical is pro-communist.
Think of as friends, as Christian brothers and sisters, effectively disagree with most of what we've said this evening. Completely take a different attitude, think that you can somehow be Christian and woke, or Christian and pro-BLM, which is Marxist, or pro-socialist.
Not shooting black people is Marxism now, I guess. That's cool. Damn, I guess I'm a pro-Marxist now. Tucker White says, is it that easy to be a prophet? Alright, I'll try. The next video will be a right-wing loudmouth who spouts right-wing bullshit. Ooh, bold claim. I guess we'll see. One Speedy Yoshi says, the Red Scare really ruined this country for the worst, didn't it? Oh yeah. The Cold War fucked multiple generations of people's brains. Pyromancer says, if everything Republicans say is projection, does that mean they are the deep state?
Or apolitical.
Secretly, yes.
Apolitical really means...
We're gonna find out in 10 years that somewhere Republicans have a pizza place they're hiding children at. I swear. The amount of projection that comes out of them at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised. I'd be like, that explains a lot. Mike Mack says, conspiracy theorists, the plan is to divide us. Now let me tell you why you're wrong and need to be put down. Profane Priestess says, what? The disciples are described as living as libertarian communists. Why do fundies hate leftism? Because we're the enemy. Democrats and everyone left of Democrats are the enemy because team sports.
Pro-communist, let's be honest. There's no way you can be genuinely apolitical. If you are, communism will come in. It's the natural way.
Communism is natural now. That's interesting.
This man, he was not elected by the people of this country. He was not confirmed in the Senate. He is the highest paid federal employee.
I think she's talking about Fauci.
Which everyone should ask, why is this true? Why is he the highest paid federal employee?
He's been in a high level of government since the Reagan administration. He's very respected. Like, that's probably why.
Why is Dr. Fauci paid more than the President of the United States?
The reasons listed above, and the presidential salary hasn't really been increased for a very long period of time, which is good. Honestly, at this point, the presidential salary's borderline ceremonial, considering the amount of wealthy people who go into the office, but either way, yeah, it's to retain him as talent for the administration. Tucker White says, man, this guy would hate Jeebus, who is clearly a socialist. MMO Addicted, thanks for subscribing for 11 months.
And this man just keeps moving the imaginary goal line down the road. Oh, maybe we can stop wearing masks by then. Maybe you should wear 2 masks, 3 masks, 4 masks.
The mask thing, actually, they updated the guidelines, and now if you're fully vaccinated, they're saying you can go without masks. I'm still going to wear one for a while, because why not? It doesn't hurt me in any way, and it's just an extra layer of protection. But, like, do these people feel stupid at all now that, like, all their fear-mongering of, like, they're never gonna let us take the masks off, it's a muzzle, it's... Now that they're like, oh, hey, a lot of people have been vaccinated now, you can probably take the mask off if you're vaccinated. Are they even gonna have a little second of pause where they go, wait a minute, maybe I was catastrophizing and being absolutely hysterical about PPE, which doctors wear all the time.
How many masks do you need, Dr. Fauci? Everyone needs to be vaccinated. When you get vaccinated, you can stop wearing the mask. Oh, but now that you're vaccinated, we may have to continue wearing the mask. It changes and changes and changes.
It's almost like our information about a pandemic and how it spreads changes as we learn more information and get more data from studies done during the pandemic. Weird. Killjoy says he's also a doctor and we want to encourage those to leave the very profitable medical industry somehow. Yeah. Casual Snark says, I could have sworn that communists believed that religion was the opium of the masses, so an unpolitical Christian is an atheist? Right-wing thought is confusing, because it doesn't make sense. Pyromancer says, I wish they hadn't said that because the unvaccinated are just not going to wear it. Probably. But assholes are going to be assholes. Mike Mack says, I know you hate people making fun of appearance, but... no, I'm not going to read that one.
Somebody had released recently about how there were some prophetic ministers that supposedly had a dream that the B guy would win and 45 would lose, and they are accurate prophets. No, they aren't, because he won.
Let's look. Damn, no, still Joe Biden. Close, though. I feel like we're getting close.
So you can call it whatever you want, and that they had the skinny beforehand, but the truth of the matter is he won. People who think that this election fraud is going to go away.
There's no election fraud.
And that President Trump is going to go away. You don't understand.
He basically has gone away, actually. It's pretty fantastic. As it turns out, banning him from Twitter and Facebook Really, really excellent moves. Tucker White says, the thing I hate most about right-wing grifters as well as left-wing grifters is that even when they're proven demonstrably wrong, virtually none of them will ever suffer any repercussions for their fear-mongering or idiotic statements. Yeah, it's stupid.
Understand that part of the visitation, this isn't worship, this isn't nationalism, this isn't an idolatry. It is God's agenda and desire to use a man and an administration as part of his visitation to bless the church, to give the church religious liberties and freedoms for the greatest harvest. Are you listening? But we got people like the disciples that are saying, oh, it's a ghost, it's evil, oh. 46:1, no, 46 doesn't exist.
I'm not going to Google it again, but no, Joe Biden's the president, sorry. One Speedy Yoshi says, the B guy, Barry B. Benson, but he did win the court case. Watch the movie. Oh, not that B guy. Well, I wish Barry B. Benson was our president. Logarth says, let the dark harvest begin.
God doesn't reward and bless a thief.
I guess that's probably why Trump lost, huh? Pyromancer says, God is an eldritch being who will come to harvest the souls of believers. That'd be kind of sweet.
Who passed away.
Let me see. During an appearance on the QAnon program Up Front in the Prophetic, Bishop Larry Gators declared that the deaths of Joe Biden's wife and daughters in 1972 and the death of his son Beau in 2015 were a satanic sacrifice to help Biden's political career. Oh, fucking yikes. Like, you don't have to like Biden to recognize that that's a fucked up thing to say.
Away, supposedly of brain cancer. Now, my two contacts in the FBI said that...
He has contacts in the FBI. I think these contacts are probably the same ones that talk to Doomcock and tell him that Alex Kurtzman's about to be fired any second from CBS.
That was a lie. Beau Biden was a sacrifice for the political rise of his father. Just like the first wife of Joe Biden, Nelia Hunter Biden, was a satanic sacrifice going back to 1972 that will give way for the rise of the political career of one Joe Biden.
Well, that's gross. Pyromancer says, nope, read that one. Mike Mack says, funny how these conservative Christians never talk to Democrat Christians on the view that God helps the presidential race. The idea that, like, a divine creator of the universe, a being so impossibly complex that we would never be able to understand them, would intervene in something as petty as human politics is so laughable to me on just a fundamental level. Like, if you're religious, that's fine. Like, I don't care. I've talked about this before, too. I'm not religious, but if you are, whatever. We can have differing opinions on that. Whatevs. But to think that, like, the deity you believe in is directly affecting shit like politics is a toxic, toxic viewpoint. MO Addicted says, ew, y'all want to see the sketch of my 40k navigatrix? Oh, that's pretty cool. I like the, I assume those are like tattoos? Pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that with us. Tucker White says, if Donald Trump is God's plan for yada yada right-wing nonsense, then God sucks at what he or she does. Agreed. Overthought says, Jesus was a carpenter. He'd be a shitty farmer. This explains the low quality of the harvest of believers. Wing the Ultimate Nug says, do you have any opinions on Palestine? Yes, I do. Thanks for asking. Blackwing Hecate says, glory to the Omnissiah. Oh, God. Gen Xers, 1965 to 1979, the last great generation before all these sissies were born. And then it's a child drinking a Coors. Because nothing says badass like destroying a child's development with alcohol. Ugh. Ew, God. I've seen a lot of these Trump paint jobs on cars. This one's probably the worst. The other ones at least had some sort of rhyme or reason. This one just has a lot of polka dots, and I don't like them. Like, here's one, right? This is good, and this isn't good, and it's gaudy and ugly, and this person is clearly, like, mentally ill. But at least it's a well-done window decal, you know? Blackwing Hecate says, nothing says badass like shitty American beer. This commenter says, I wish Big Don was walking up to me like that. Jesus Christ, I thought I had daddy issues. Are you going to sleep? Yes, I am. Now shut up. Remember 20 years ago in kindergarten when you wore that Indian costume? You're gonna get canceled now. What? That's not a thing that happens. Oh my God, look at this rap job. That's bad. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you're fooled. And it says, meanwhile at the DNC, and it's animatronic, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Barack Obama, and then a picture of actual Joe Biden. I guess Joe Biden's a robot now. Actually, I think if Joe Biden was a robot, legally, you would have to refer to him as a robot. I feel like Joe Biden has, like, a very robot-type energy, you know? It's got that old man energy. It's a robot! Mike Mack says, how far will the MAGA cult go if something unfortunate happens to their leader? They're probably going to say, if it's like the QAnon types, they're probably going to say that he's hiding from the deep state or trying to trick them. Some of them might say, oh, he was defeated by the deep state. They got him. I don't know. It'll be one of the two. Alright, that's probably enough right-wing cope for the day. Creepy stuff. Creepy stuff. I don't think there's anything else.
Of homosexuality, it is a double sin against God.
Apparently being gay is a double sin against God.
It's an abomination to God. It is a double sin because it is the sin of fornicating, because all sin outside marriage is fornication and sin.
So is it only a single sin if two gay people get married before they engage in the intercourse?
In the sight of God. You can't have a same-sex marriage. No.
I mean, you literally can. You can go get one right now. Baha and I could go do one right now. Although technically I haven't had that stuff legally changed yet, so legally it wouldn't be considered that. But let's say it was. You could go get that done. Blackwing Hecate says, Roe Biden. Tucker White says, so now that Biden's president, when does JFK Jr. finally appear? The real JFK Jr. was the friends we made along the way. Pyromancer says, commit 2 sins, get the 3rd free. And MMO Addicted says, so being pan is like sin jackpot. You gotta be pan, and you gotta be polyamorous. And then, yep, you go to super hell. One Speedy Yoshi says, did you see that they said the date? The new iCarly show comes out, but there's no Gibby. This is a hate crime. Also no Sam, but I don't blame Jeanette McCurdy for not coming back after the shit Dan Schneider put her through. I'm not interested in the new iCarly. And I liked iCarly as a kid, but, you know, eh.
Such thing exists. You can make one up. If you want to be a society in rebellion against God, you can just make it up.
All marriages are made up. It's a social construct. Casual Snark says, double sin. Is that like double coupons? Does it triple on Tuesdays? It quadruples, okay? We're going for a high score here. MMO Addicted says, is Super Hell not just Poland? Well, I've never been there. But from how you describe it, it's pretty close.
But that's all it is, just fiction. Just made up. But in the sight of God, it doesn't exist.
That's cool, because I don't think the sight of God exists, so I guess we're even.
So you're committing the sin of fornication, number one, but then you're committing the unnatural sin that the Bible calls it unnatural, of lying having intimate relationships with someone and sexual relationships with someone of the same gender, that is unnatural. It is an abomination to God. In the Old Covenant, it lists that in the same position that it lists bestiality. Sleeping with an animal. Yeah, I said it because the Bible says it.
What do you want to bet this dude's search history includes some stuff that would be hypocritical? Let's put it that way. Mike Max says, at this point, everyone is going to hell. Yeah, why not? Tucker White says, does this guy think gay people do nothing but fuck? I guess not. MMO Addicted says, well, if you ever need to hide from a rabid homophobic Polish mob, I can give you and Baja sanctuary behind my big gate. Good to know. Blackwing Hecate, does sin scale linearly or logarithmically? Linearly, unfortunately. The high score is going to be a little tough to get. One Speedy Yoshi says, you need to see this. This is why Black Lives Matterhorn is trending on Twitter. I saw this. This is the funniest Ben Garrison comic I've ever seen. Ben Garrison is a MAGA political comic illustrator who's terrible. Everything I hate about political comics, especially the need to label absolutely everything. But this is like a masterpiece of like just ridiculous straw man bullshit. It's so funny. Let's read what some of this stuff says. Instead of train station, it has a tran station. And then it looks like it's maybe supposed to be an unflattering image of someone with pink hair, perhaps supposed to be a trans woman or something as the head of the train. It says pronoun train, and the cars say Z, Zier, and Veer. There's a metal detector that says vaccinated only. There's a castle that's on fire called Antifa Land. There's a rocket ride of some sort with very confusing perspective. He did a pretty bad job on that one, with like an Illuminati all-seeing eye pyramid. There's the Black Lives Matter horn, which is one of the better Disney puns I've ever heard. I want to ride the Black Lives Matter horn. It'd probably be, it's like the opposite of Splash Mountain. Tucker White says E.W. Jackson's entire search history is nothing but yaoi and ladyboys. There's no way it's not. I wouldn't be surprised. Andrew Batella says, who wants to get off at the tran station? Tucker White says, but wait a minute. Which one is Snow White? Which one is Mickey? Which one is Donald? Ben, how am I supposed to know who's who if you don't label them? So anyway, Donald Duck gets punched in the face by Mickey, who says, take your Snow White privilege out of here, ho-ho! And Snow White and one of the seven dwarves says, we would never say the M word, implying some sort of racial slur against Mickey. And on the grass it says, no Trump supporters allowed. There's a ride that's the socialism go round, and it says free ride, and it's donkeys instead of horses, alluding to the Democratic Party. It's genuinely, this is packed with more straw man bullshit per square inch than I can possibly imagine. It's so good. I want to hang this on a wall in my office. Blackwing Hecate says mouse. Yes, I think it's supposed to be mouse. So that's the right-wing cope for the day. Very, very strange. They're doing about as well as usual, which, as it turns out, isn't very good. Thoughts and prayers for our friends on the right. Stretch. I'm in a very relaxed mood, chat. I'm so excited once the stream's done. I'm gonna go cuddle with Baja. It's gonna be good. Tucker White says, also, Ben missed Safe Space Mountain. It was right there. Oh, yeah, that would have been a good one. Safe Space Mountain. Yeah. Is Frank's Speech a social media site yet? I don't think so. I haven't gotten in, though, because I don't want to put a phone number in. I'm aware there are ways to spoof phone numbers, but I didn't want to do it. so maybe at some point I will. What movies should we watch tonight, chat? Baha and I, what do you think? Blackwing Heggerty says, could be the word for short people that we don't say anymore. Possibly. Mr. Sir Night King Yo says, hi, am I late? A little bit. Minority Report. I mean, that's good. I've seen that a lot, though. Sonic. Do I like horror? I love horror. The Room. I made Baha watch The Room like a month ago. Or whenever that was. Wait, no. No, that wasn't Baha. Wait, Baha, did I make you watch The Room? I feel like I made you watch The Room at some point, and it was more than a month ago, but I don't remember. 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Ha 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 ha. When did I make Baha watch The Room? I feel like it was a long time ago. I don't remember. I haven't seen The Father. I know Anthony Hopkins got an Oscar or something for it. We watched The Room very early in our relationship. Yeah, it was a long time ago. God, why are you still with me after I made you watch Neil Breen movies and The Room? Blackwing Hecate says Velocipaster. Yeah. I don't like movies that try and intentionally be bad. Like, that's not funny. I can differentiate. I apologize. I realized after I said it was like a month ago, I realized that I was mistaking that for what I showed you early on in our relationship. MMO Addicted says, I think Promised Land is on YouTube, one of the masterpieces of Polish cinema about predatory capitalism. It's only subtitled, though. Blackwing Hecate says, Where the Dead Go to Die? I'm not familiar with that one. Garbage Pail Kids, the movie? No thanks. I've seen it. Alright. Let me check something real quick, and then we can watch this Lucas Werner fella. Okay, Lucas Werner is a strange individual. I'm sus. I'm sorry. I'll give you cuddles later to make up for my susness. I apologize. I really do. We're gonna watch this Lucas Werner guy. Weird guy. Let me just put it that way. I don't have a lot to say about this. We're just gonna watch it, okay?
I want an adult hottie in my lap right now, under 26 right now, no frills, no excuse, big titties and intelligence. I don't care if she's a hood, rap, punk rock, or any kind of anything. As long as she's hot and here right now on my 37-year-old dick right now. For 5 years of never having anything as everybody else gets laid. The gray-haired beards use the research on telomerase that I put out 8 months ago, and then you just go with that hoe. Why won't you go with me? I don't need that question answered. I need it right now.
He is trying to rap. This is what he would consider a rap, to try and attract girls under 26, I should say women under 26, in his area. This is a regular thing for him.
Right now. After $3,000 of giving food away to the homeless, I think I deserve it. I think I'm entitled bloke, and I think that I deserve it now.
He literally just said he gave food to the homeless, therefore he's entitled to fuck a 26-year-old.
I'm not going to believe in your God or any nonsense. I'm not going to believe in Satan either.
Oh no, he's an edgy atheist boy too.
I just want it here right now. I've given a lot away as an atheist and an anti-theist. I've done everything that I can. I've lost 200 pounds and I've dropped from 5X to an XL. I've gone through 2007 to 2017 and I've given everything that I could away. I moved 418 miles and yes, I am entitled to it. Stop opening these terms with me, you big age phobe. We need to get rid of this age phobia from chicks under the age of 26 because of telomerase research.
He thinks that if women under 26 don't want to sleep with him, that they're age phobic. Yeah, that's what he's going with.
If the father is 35 to 55, the kid will live longer, have longer telomeres, and intelligence more fitter. We need to get rid of it like we need to get rid of incest and pedophilia. We need to get rid of it right now. Oh, you're only having sex, your telomere is abundant. You're just going to get stressed and angry and make everybody depressed and stressed and angry. As you roll with the guy and just go fly, and later in life you have cancer. I want a hottie in my lap right now, right now, right now, right now. 18-year-olds, big tits, doesn't matter the subculture. Right here, right now in Spokane, right now, to go out with me on a date right now.
So that's the first video. This video is entitled "My Semen Has More Telomeres."
Gorgeous, intelligent, and kind. Those are the three main qualities I look for in a woman.
Casual Snark says, wow, he's actually making me feel sympathy for the women in Eastern Washington. Mike Mack says, this guy makes Vanilla Ice look like Eminem. That's good.
I want someone between the ages of 18 and 25 because they're the most fertile. And the telomerase research is saying
when I am interested in someone, I definitely want to hear them say to me, oh, I'm so into how fertile you are.
And between 35 and 55 give kids the strongest DNA. And I want to play this out. I want to date you and buy you great meals out and get to know you as a friend and all this sort of stuff. I'm open to the symphony. I'm open to rap shows. You know, whatever you want to fuck do. I'm cool with it, you know.
I don't care what you want to do. You want to go to a dog fight? Let's go to a dog fight. Any hole's a goal, people, okay? I don't care what you want to do. We're gonna go somewhere. As long as someone wants to have human contact with me. Profane Priestess says, bashes my head open against a wall, end me in Minecraft.
I want to go hang out with you and be your friend. I'm trying to end ageism. I've been on the dating sites for 5 years and just have never...
This isn't just really weird. This isn't weird, it's really pathetic. MMO Addicted says it's 5 minutes and has almost no words, but this is the ending scene where one of the main protagonists of the movie shows his fall from an idealist wanting to do things different in his own factory to a corrupt, neo-aristocrat. The only words spoken in the scene are, yes, I agree, shoot them, ordering a violent quelling of a strike. Okay, I'll look at that later.
Had no luck with this age group. Surprise, surprise. But I'm trying to appeal with a little more cash. I got a little more saved, and I think that going to eat a $65 porterhouse steak might up the ante a little bit. Sure, I don't have a car, but I don't believe in pollution, so I don't want to contribute to the pollution problem. Plus, cars are a lot of money to maintain, and I just don't want to do that. I'm writing a book about the end of ageism, and it's got 2 chapters. The first chapter is millennials, and the second chapter is telomerase. And believe it or not...
Does he mean telomeres? Does he mean telomeres?
Or not, I have 700 pages written on this. And it's going to be a book. It's going to be about how millennials are bigots and how they don't really date Generation X males that often. And it's going to suggest that breeding with males under the age of 35 is bad for the DNA. It affects 1 out of 3 people. I have a mental illness. I have 2 brothers, and they're fine. So, I mean, it's the violence of the 20th century is pretty apparent.
This guy was born in 1984, so he's basically an older millennial. He's right on that line between millennial and Gen X. So I find it a little interesting that he is shitting on millennials when he basically is one.
The hate of the 20th century, and even now, the disabilities that have been coming up in people has only increased.
Telomerase adds telomeres? Okay, gotcha. Bardlock Moses says, what the actual fuck? And Overthought says, ladies, I'm based. I say no to pollution. Now suck me off. I bought you, dinner.
So like 1 out of 3 people are affected by something, you know what I mean? We really should fight this. If older fathers give kids stronger DNA, then younger fathers give kids weaker DNA, and we could talk...
Not even basically, he is a millennial. Casual Snark says, I thought it was 1985 till like 2000 or something like that. I guess I could be wrong. So I thought he was like 1 year before. Casual Snark says, stay out of my generation, pal. I'm a Gen Xer.
Talk about this over dinner anytime you want. We can eat anywhere you want. I live in Spokane.
I wouldn't, and you know, I'm a person who enjoys like a good steak, you know? If someone offers to take me out and buy me, like, obviously this is a scenario where it's a platonic thing. But if Jake was like, you know what, Hannah, it's your birthday. We're gonna go out and we're gonna buy you a really nice steak. Like a $65, $70 steak like this guy described. Fuck yeah, I'm there, you know? I love steak, so, like, I'm on board for that. This guy could like, offer to take me somewhere, not in a dating way even, just platonically as, like, a friend. If this guy was like, I'll buy you $100 steak. I'm gonna buy you Wagyu beef. It's gonna be delicious. It's gonna be a $350 steak made by the greatest chef within 1,000 miles. I'd be like, no, I don't want to spend time with you. Much less someone actually getting into this situation with his expectation being sex. Because if you go on a date with this guy and you don't immediately be like, oh, I want to suck your dick, you know this guy's going to freak out and he's going to be like, I took you out to dinner, bitch. Like, I did my part. I didn't, you know what I mean? He's going to treat it as entirely transactional.
Spokane, Washington. I'm not a creepy guy. Most people that have met me say that I'm not creepy at all. I'm one of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet. I may not be humble in that regard, but, you know, I'm just reporting what other people have said. I think you should stop being a coward, get off the fucking internet, and come have a $65 steak with my ass. If that's not you, fine, whatever, coward. Ooh.
What was that noise at the end?
Ooh. Boo. Ooh. Whatever, coward. Boo. Ooh.
I'm gonna turn that into my ringtone.
Whatever, coward. Boo. Ooh.
Oh, I got a text message. Bardlock Moses says, I'm not crazy. Pyromancer with 20 bits in a video.
Run, coward.
Oh god, what other oh no! He recently made this video.
I'm not interested.
This is after he got his stimulus check.
In sluts, I'm not interested in hoes, I'm not interested in hookers, I'm not interested in drug addicts, I'm not interested in the unhealthy, the unclean, the unfathomably stupid, anything other than the women of Gen Z. So if you hook me up to one of those...
He's graduated, by the way, to asking for Gen Z women. The last video was from 2017, and he was talking about millennials. Now he's talking about wanting to date Gen Z people. How old are the oldest Gen Z people? Like 24, 25? Something like that? Ooh.
$100.
23? Gotcha.
This is proof that I have the money. I'm not doing this to flash my wealth. I'm not interested...
To flash your wealth, literally everyone got that payment. Everyone got the stimulus. That, you know, there was at least a process to get it for you if you wanted it.
In any woman that would date more than one guy at a time. If I don't get her phone number at the end of the dinner date or lunch date, then you don't get the $100. I'm not really too interested in Democrats or Republicans or libertarians or the right wing. You have to be a Marxist.
He's a Marxist, nice guy. What's the word? I can't use the I word. He's a Marxist. I feel like Baha just said something, but I couldn't hear her. He's a whatever. But like Moses says, I live in a stand your ground state. If I see him near my niece, oh, I can't read that. No,
She's not getting the money.
Oh, okay.
You are. You are now a
Marxist man-child. Sure, that's a good way to put it. H. Baird says, unless you were too wealthy, then you got nothing from the stimulus. So really flashing cash would be the ballerest of not cashing No, so really flashing no cash would be the ballerest of moves.
A matchmaker. I will only date women between 18 and 21.
Oh, he moved his... He said under 26 before. Now it's under 21. He's gotten even more specific. Oh, no. It's okay. We're safe, though. He's not interested in us because we're too old.
Yeah.
That are gorgeous, intelligent, and kind, and don't give in to a guy two at a time. I reject them.
You're past your prime to this guy, Hannah? That's my secret. I've never peaked. Pyromancer says, soon a pulse will be optional.
Democrats and Republicans. I'm only into Marxists, Democratic socialists, communists, anarchists. Only Marxists would understand. I don't care if you're a Christian, Muslim, or a Jew. I don't care if you're an atheist or an agnostic. If you are not kind to me, I do not date you. If you do not make eye contact with me on the date, we're not dating.
What situation has he been in where he's like, you gotta make eye contact with me. I've been on dates where they refuse to make eye contact with me and I won't have it. Thanks for making eye contact with me, Baha.
I mean, you pay extra for it, so.
You missing something?
No, I'm not. I'm coming back.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I didn't know if you were going back upstairs.
I'm not doing this to be cruel. I need...
Better buy Baha a $65 meal. Baha, is there a $65 meal that you'd like? Or do you just love me? That's the right answer.
Need a nice, friendly, beautiful chick who will potentially give my kids strong baby DNA.
Strong baby DNA.
Know about the telomerase in the egg and the sperm. If you're there dissing me, I'm there putting this money away. $100 to you for hooking me up. We'll go on a date to Incrediburger. If I don't get her phone number at the end of the date, or I believe that she's
Incrediburger. Hold on. Incrediburger. Incrediburger and eggs. We're open for dine-in. Let's see what their menu's like. I'm just curious. Oh, they have a food truck, too. Let's take a look and see if we were to go on a date with this guy, what are our options? Ooh, that burger with the egg that's a little runny. That looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Classic. Incrediburger blend, shredded lettuce, onion ketchup, grain mustard, and house pickles. Add cheese, grilled onions, or bacon for an extra charge. Bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. Hardwood smoked bacon, fried egg, house cheese, maple syrup, and French toast mayo, and a fresh bun. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich. Pig Newton sandwich. PB&J Incrediburger blend, jalapeno jelly, peanut butter sauce, cilantro, Thai aioli, and pickled peppers, and cheese or bacon for an extra charge. You get it. Burgers. There's actually no pricing on this. That's kind of a shame. I'm not seeing the supposed $60 steak. It looks like all burgers. They look like they're probably really good burgers, but he just said you're going to buy me a $65 steak and then you're going to go take me to get burgers? Feels like a bit of a bait and switch, and I like a good burger, but you know. These actually do look really good, though. Look at these. Oh, some of those breakfast sandwiches especially. Maybe I'm just in a breakfasty mood. Let's see what can I just look at their pricing, like, online? If I do the order online thing? Uber Eats or DoorDash? I guess it doesn't really matter. The point is I was promised a $65 steak, and he's taking me to a restaurant with burgers. I feel lied to. Bardlock Moses says, I feel like this should be TOS, and MMO Addicted says, oof, God, I forgot this movie doesn't pull any punches. The protagonist comes to see his boss splattered in the blood of a worker who lost an arm in an accident, and the boss tells him he'll never manage a factory because he doesn't approve beatings and exploit the workers. Literal quote, they're all just cattle and I can say that I pay them, I own them, end quote. Yikes. One Speedy Yoshi says, this ain't a burger, this is.
Top it off with bacon, ham, and a fried egg. We call it the Good Morning Burger.
Fucking with me and trolling with me, I'm not gonna give you the money. You know, Jesus hated money worshipers. I live at a homeless shelter. This is just what the money is that the government gave me from the COVID stimulus. This is $1,400. You'll get 100 of that if you hook me up. I don't play games. You come at me with sarcasm and bullshit. This is done. Move on it, Generation Z.
You heard him, Gen Z. Get to it. Your number one priority is to get him laid, okay? Hello.
Hi. Oh, God.
What? Oh, God. Why does Richard Dawkins keep saying things?
One of my cousin's kids has Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And he's the sweetest.
It's about healthy baby DNA, so she better not be a drug addicted poser, a prostitute or a fool. She better not have low intelligence or bad eyesight or bad health of any sort of way. She better...
This poor guy. I'm definitely starting to edge towards he's, like, actually mentally ill. Yikerinos. There's not a king among the queens of Gen Z?
Age gappers.
Logarth says, Gen Z, get me laid, finger on monkey's paw curls. Ugh.
You're right. It really should be all of you. We should all be age gappers. But you're right. It probably isn't about money as I sit in the homeless shelter and none of these guys have girlfriends. It's not about money at all. You're just lining up at the homeless shelters from Gonzaga University and all the colleges in Spokane to date us. It's not about money at all. No. As you're lighting up at, say, Truth Ministries or HOC or Canon or any of the Salvation
He's
Army.
stuck in some mentality. Either way, it's not good. I'm not going to cover this guy anymore, though, because he's definitely got something else going on. Obviously, interesting, but I try not to cover people who are over that line. Does that make sense?
Maybe he has some sort of developmental disorder where
It's possible.
stops developing at, like, young adult.
Yeah, maybe. So anyway, let's move on to something else.
Oh, dear Jesus.
Baha, since you are in the live audience.
Are we Jimmy Snow now?
Yes. What do you think? Should we do Bryson or should we do
Ew.
Elliot?
Why would you ever make me choose between them?
That's how it works. It's the burden you took on when you decided to be with me.
Go to the other one. I want to see the title. Go to the Bryson one.
Shiggity Schwa, thank you for subscribing with a 12-month streak. Make your choice. Happy anniversary for that sub.
Can I roll?
I have dice, but they're on the table over there. We also have Conservapedia, which is an option if you'd like to choose that instead, I suppose.
Nah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna roll a d20, and if it's even, it'll be Elliot, and if it's odd, it'll be Bryson.
All right, evens Elliot, odds Bryson, for those who didn't hear.
Fuck, it's 7.
It's 7.
Which means Bryson.
Okie dokie. MMO Addicted says, why would you make me choose between them? Sounds like her saying both. Blackwing Hecate says, all your base are belong to us. Make your time.
I love Elive. It was so fun playing.
Yeah, that was good. Okie dokie. So Bryson started in an attempt, I would imagine, to sort of regain some of his relevancy since Trump lost the election and he's, I would imagine, had less and less interaction. I guess I don't know that for sure. We should probably take a look. Should we look at Social Blade and maybe...
Do I care?
I don't know, you might.
No.
I'm sorry. You just really don't like Bryson, huh?
No, I don't. I absolutely despise Bryson.
Yeah, he's not great.
Like, Elliot, I just think is stupid. Bryson is an awful person.
Yeah. So let's see. Bryson Gray's subscriber counts peaked in September of 2020, and they've been going down ever since, which happens with YouTube channels, you know.
Does Baja hate Bryson or Danzy more? I don't hate Danzy. I just don't think that it's good to exploit her for views when, like, she's clearly trying her best.
She's also a Trump supporter. But I agree, it's iffy. So anyway, Bryson, I would assume in an attempt to up his YouTube viewership from its low that it is at currently, or lull, I shouldn't say low, because of course he started at the bottom like all of us. He started a call-in show.
1 second. Somebody in chat asked what my D&D character is. My character is a fire genasi that has a dark gray skin, electric blue eyes, electric blue hair that flames up when she's got any kind of like strong emotion, and she's a ranger.
Hold on, I have I have a picture.
Yeah, her name is Asdor.
That's a picture of the D&D character. I like the design you had her put on. Sarah, Legend of Phoenix, did the art for this campaign, so all credit to her for that.
Yeah, Sarah
that design's
is
cool.
incredible. She did this in like
She did
a
this
couple
over
hours.
She did. She's really good. She has commissions. If you check her out on Twitter, Legend of Phoenix. You can find her because I like her tweets and retweet her occasionally, and she's also on one of the people I follow. Stormfox999 says, I saw someone in Peter's comment section warn him that The Rock was the Antichrist. I really hope Peter is stupid enough to start talking about that in his videos. I mean, it was written down, and Peter tends to believe anything that's presented to him, so. Mordlock Moses says she got mad when Jake punched her spider horse.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Poor Penelope.
Okay, so let's take a look and skip around in Bryson's brand new call-in show. I imagine it's going to be all fans of his, but who knows? Might be interesting to hear his rampant homophobia.
What does CCG stand for?
That's a good question. I don't know.
It is working. Let me see. I think.
I know why they mad, 'cause I'm black.
serious discussions about the country, about the community, about all of this. So this is what this is for. This is not for no trolls or anything like that.
I just realized it's starting to remind me of Jesse Lee Peterson.
I mean, it's the same grift, basically. So
does the show last? I'm gonna try to do it for an hour tops. And if something just go a little bit over, I'll go a little bit over, but it's supposed to be for an hour tops.
I think Bryson's actually more coherent than Jesse Lee Peterson, though.
That's why I said he's becoming.
Yeah. Sure.
So
Tucker White says, yeah, this won't possibly get exploited by trolls to fuck with him. Hey, Bryson said this isn't for trolls. That's a verbal contract. You can't break that.
People calling, so I'm about to start accept the calls. I had like 10 calls. People call me at one time. Everybody gotta relax. Oh my goodness. All right, I accepted one.
Is this Bryson Gray?
This is Bryson Gray.
All right. Hi, Bryson Gray. My name is Nahor. I don't know if you heard of that name before. That's in the Bible, so you learn something new every day. Before I say this, I'm going to be 100% humble. I need some advice, and I'm asking you because I feel like you're in the same boat as me. And before we continue, I just want to say, the reason how I found you out is I watched you on that live stream with Brandon Tatum and ABL too. I'm a big fan of both of them, and I watched that live stream about the George Floyd trial. So before we start, I want to say thank you for not falling into the mob. That's a really big deal, especially coming.
Oh, thanks for justifying my garbage beliefs by being a minority that's tokenized themselves in a community that largely hates and works against the interests of minority groups. Hooray! Pyromancer says, validation, the stream. A Colston says, I think Elliot's worse. He has more reach and he said he won't pay for his daughter's educations because he doesn't want them to have sex, and he wants them to be trad wives so that they'll always be dependent on him. Literal abuser tactics. I suppose that's true. Speedy Yoshi says, how many of these guys are going to be douchebag college kids? Too many.
All.
Coming from an African-American kid, you know?
Of course. Never bow down to the mob. That's one of my main rules. Never bow down to the mob.
I only bow down to Daddy Trump, okay?
And I know, I know I'm not trying to kiss up or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, it's just, I need some honest advice. And I'm happy because I was watching your video. And I'm like, you know what? He's saying he wants some, if you want honest advice, I'm like, bro, I'm here for that reason, So I got a YouTube channel too. Obviously, it's not as big as yours. I'm not trying to
oh my God, get to your fucking question.
Shot myself out or anything. I'm just trying to say, just watching
CCG
you.
is Can't Cancel God. It's his album title. Gotcha.
Well, to be honest,
Can't cancel God. Isn't that literally what the Romans did? They're like, Jesus is officially canceled.
Can't cancel what doesn't exist, Bryson.
Watched you on the live stream, and I'm like, you know what? For you to go that far, and I'm a freestyler too, I'm a rapper too and stuff. So you using your voice to promote something, I respect that. So before
Speedy Yoshi says, I'm black, young, only 20, and I live with my rich parents in a mostly white neighborhood. I could make a shit ton of money by doing Bryson shit if only I didn't have that pesky morality.
Man, no problem.
All right, so yeah, I'm going to keep it brief because I got a couple of exams to study for, and I know people want to be on your show, so I'm going to be 100% honest.
Exams to study for. He is a college kid.
So I'm just going to say the story that's relevant briefly, and then after that, I'm going to tell you, why
Jesus
I need,
Christ,
if you have any advice.
I'm
so
going to keep it brief
the
8 times.
Small glimpse was that in 2016, when he went down the escalator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
At first, I didn't really know who he was. We were learning about it in school. Let me remind you, I go to a pretty liberal school. We were learning about all the Republican candidates, like Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Donald Trump, etc. Right? But then I started hearing about all these bad things about Hillary. And then when Trump won the primary, I'm like, you know what? I actually want Trump to win. You get what I'm saying? But it wasn't on the basis that I actually liked him. It's just I didn't really want Clinton to win. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what's the question or something?
Even Bryson's like, all right, yeah man. If you ever call a call-in show, brevity is the soul of wit. Try and be witty, okay?
Seriously, you should open with your question if it needs clarification.
Hi.
Then you can add.
Hi, I'm blank from blank. I love the show. I was wondering, insert question here. Question answered. Thank you. Perhaps a follow-up comment. Appreciate the show. Thanks for taking my call. End of conversation.
We do not need your life story.
Hydrate.
We don't need to know what you were doing when Trump came down the elevator.
Escalator.
Whatever.
Oh yeah. So what happened was, and I'm just gonna keep it brief because this is where my question comes in, was that in 2017, 2018, a couple of my friends found that out, and they were making fun of me. They made me feel like a nobody. Like, you know, they made me feel really sad. So that I fell into the mob, and then that's when I started saying, oh no, now if I was able to vote, because back then I was only 15, so I couldn't vote. I said, oh no, now I would vote for Hillary Clinton, blah blah blah. And then one of my friends,
wait, he was 15 in 2016. So he's only 20 now.
Yeah.
This is a poor guy. Citosaurus says, this cringe is killing me, and Blackwing Hecate says, I'm keeping it brief, he said after blathering for 5 minutes before a bunch more blathering. You think this guy is a friend, or not a friend, a fan of John Doyle? He feels like ripe for John Doyle 100%. Exploitation.
He's a Christian. I don't know if you're a Christian, so I'm not trying to peer pressure you or
anything. Yeah. You don't know if he's a Christian? What? How are you a fan of Bryson Gray and you don't know he's a Christian? He brings it up every other sentence. What? Now I'm just confused, because Bryson...
This has to be a kid that he hired to call him.
Like, Bryson, his entire Twitter feed is talking about Jesus constantly and how the Bible condemns, like, homosexuality.
I am.
All right, God bless. But the thing was, he was talking to me about, you know, hey, why do you like Trump? No, blah, blah, blah. I was pulling up the stereotypical stuff. Oh, he should be impeached. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Because it's like, for me, I was like, I went through all that burden, so it's like I was kind of like brainwashed, you know? Me and him had a thoughtful conversation. You know, after he explained his things, like, you know, he's pro-life like I was. Well, I am still. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All that stuff, blah, blah. We started talking about that stuff, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm going to vote for him, right? And then I did, you know what I mean? And then the thing was just the whole premise of, you know, when a lot of my friends found out, I was shunned, I was blocked.
You know that GIF where it's the truck that's getting closer and closer to that pole, but it never actually shows it hitting the pole?
No.
This is the conversation version of that.
And I mean, like, by the hundreds. Like, by the hundreds, people were unfollowing me, people were blocking me, people were, you know, Raccoon, Uncle Tom.
What?
Yep. He was a hero. They made
Is
to
he just
kill
trying
him.
To waste time?
All that stuff.
Like,
that would be funny. That would honestly be very funny if it was a troll just fucking with him, but in a really roundabout way.
What people think about you. You said you're a Christian, right?
Yes.
So what does it say in Proverbs? The wicked runs when...
Blackwing Hecate says me right now.
What in God's holy name are you blathering about?
No man pursueth, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. So if you're becoming antisocial because friends call you names or friends try to bully you, then that means you're going against what the Bible says in itself. So my advice is gonna be the same to anybody that has something to do with that. Be yourself and stop worrying about what the world thinks about you, because you can't be a friend of the world and be a friend of God at the same time. If you're a friend of the world, you're an enemy of God. If you're an enemy of God, you're a friend of the world. So
an hour-long call-in show with only one question. What a concept, Bryson.
If I was you, I would just stop worrying about the world. Who cares about these lames anyway? These people lame. They are lame. I'm telling you for a fact they're lame. So I mean, you said you're a Christian, so just keep following God. That's the only person you need to be trying to impress.
All right, thank you. And then just for like future reference, like, because you're a really social guy too, so how do you handle yourself in public events too? Like if someone like tried to attack you, you know what I mean? Because like the mob is pretty crazy now. Before it was just like,
No, you good. I'm crazy. Don't be like me. So I wear MAGA stuff everywhere. Every single place I go, no place I don't go if I'm not wearing like MAGA stuff. And I've had one case where somebody actually tried to attempt to take the hat off my head. It was at a TPUSA event, and I mean I chased him down, just got my hat back.
Being like any heroes to look at.
You mean the girl that had the knife?
And I don't trust the media anymore because it's.
Oh my God, he's still talking at 15 minutes in.
on Donald Trump.
16 minutes.
And then I don't know if you were on the Sabbath about.
Oh God, I think they finally switched callers.
Okay, I understand. I have to go to sleep. It's 9:15, 9:20 here in Staten Island, New York.
He's going to sleep at 9:15.
Okay, wake up early.
I have a good night.
Going into high school next year, so I understand.
Have a good night, bro.
Nice talking to you.
Yes, sir. You too. Listen, y'all. Listen. If you call, please, have a question.
Even Bryson's like, all right, let's get this over with.
People are calling back to back. Hello. It's multiple calls. I don't know what's going on. Hello?
Yeah, is this Bryson Gray?
This is Bryson Gray.
Yo, Bryson, man, I'm watching you live on YouTube, bro.
Yes, sir.
Bro, do you know you're on YouTube right now? You're totally on YouTube Live. Do you know that? He knows. He started the stream.
Dude, I gotta tell you, man,
Take a sip of water every time this guy says bro or dude.
I just want to call in and say, I was really impressed by you, man. I don't really know a lot about you, but I was really impressed by how you debated Ruslan KD on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, man, and now and then I don't know if you were on the Sabbath about before that, but bro, man, I recently saw a tweet where you were talking about the Sabbath, and I was like, whoa, man, this guy was like straight up debating the Trinity with Ruslan on his channel, and then like a week later or 2 weeks later, he's talking about the Sabbath, bro. I keep the Sabbath.
So here's the thing, bro. I recently so there's a verse in the Bible in Matthew. Where the rich man asks Jesus, what do I have to do for eternal life? And Jesus literally told him to keep the commandments. So I looked up the other verse where Jesus talked about the commandments. There's a verse that says, basically, if you love Jesus, you keep the commandments. And if you don't love Jesus, you won't keep the commandments. So I said, okay, let me go look at the 10 commandments. So I looked at them. Right. I thought I knew them by heart. But I got humbled real quick when I tried to say them out loud with my girlfriend and realized I did not know the commandments by heart. So we looked up the 2 separate verses that has the 10 commandments in them. And I noticed I didn't keep the Sabbath. And I was like, what does it even mean to keep the Sabbath? And my girlfriend and family is very knowledgeable on things like that. So I started telling me, I started doing more research on it. And I said, okay, I'm gonna start attempting to keep the Sabbath. But I will say it's harder than it sounds. It's harder than it sounds.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, man. Like,
this caller has real Baba Booey energy. I don't know what that means.
I sent you a DM a while back, but I know you got a lot of followers and you got a lot going on and stuff, and I understand why you didn't see it, man. But listen, dude, I keep the Sabbath, right?
Yes.
And I saw you debating with Ruslan, bro. And honestly, man, like, I don't really agree with Ruslan. I actually know that guy. Like, I went to high school with him.
Yeah.
The same high school out there in California. I live in Texas now. But, bro, I was really impressed with how you debated the Trinity with him. Because, honestly, you're really close to the answer. And, honestly, I don't believe in the Trinity myself. But when you were talking about, like, no, I don't. And the reason why is because there was a lot of scriptures, right? Like, for example, on the Sabbath, I was talking to Ruslan the other day. I was like, hey, bro, you got to look at Matthew 12:8, bro. If you follow Jesus, bro, you need to be keeping the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Because Jesus kept the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I really like.
Jesus Christ, bro.
So my only problem with the hell and heaven debate is obviously the Bible says people go to a lake of fire. So then the debates is a lake of fire referring to hell? Well, hell is the name we give it. So, you know.
Right. Well, honestly, man, like, yeah, I would invite you to study it, but you know, the hell, all it means in the Hebrew. If you go back and you look in the Hebrew, it's the Hebrew word Sheol. All it means is the grave. And you know how David said, you know, lighten my eyes, Lord, lest I sleep the sleep of death. To the Hebrews, bro, to fall asleep was the type of death. And so when the real Lazarus was resurrected by Jesus, Jesus said, Lazarus is not dead.
Blackwing Hecate says, of course, Jesus kept the Sabbath. Jesus was Jewish. It was actually controversial because he was doing some sort of work on, God, I forget the story, but I'm pretty sure there's a story where Jesus gets caught doing something with his followers on the Sabbath, and gosh, what was it? For the Pharisees, the Ten Commandments, blah, 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 blah. I feel like there was a section in the Bible where Jesus got caught, or someone got caught, like, gathering sticks for a fire or something on the Sabbath, and the Pharisees were going to kill him, and Jesus showed up and was like, hey, this is maybe a bit much. Maybe chill out. Bardlock Moses says, he healed a man's hand. Jesus healed a lot of people in the Bible.
Then Elijah never came back. But the fact that a king received a letter from Elijah...
That was my favorite so far, y'all. I meant to talk to him about the Book of Enoch, but I said I was only going to go an hour, so I had to get other people on. Oh, man, people calling me like crazy. Hold on, y'all.
He healed a man's hand on the Sabbath. That's what it was. Gotcha. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yo, what's up? Who's calling? Who am I speaking with?
My name is Ryan from Connecticut.
Okay, Ryan, what up, G?
Ryan from Connecticut sounds exactly like a fan of Bryce and Gray. I thought was said. Hi, this is Ryan from Connecticut.
What up? How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How about yourself?
How you doing?
I'm all right. I don't really have a question. I pretty much wanted to say that your music's an inspiration. You're a great dude.
Don't call if you don't have a question.
Everything that you stand for, whether it's, your views on religion and Christianity versus just police and politics.
It's my favorite playlist to pregame before hitting on freshmen who are drunk at the frat party.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you, bro. Hello?
Okay. Yeah, that's it. I don't really have a real question. Just hope to.
I think Bryson's annoyed by the people who are calling without questions.
You can please refrain from cussing. I'm not gonna hate you because you said a curse word. But somebody asked me, is the King James Version is a good Bible? It's the Bible I read referring to Greek. That doesn't make sense.
I wasn't sure if you were going to answer, but
No, listen. I have 8 calls at one time, and yours the one I click. And I hope, I don't know exactly what health issues you have going on, but I will pray for you, and I genuinely hope you make it. RRE.
He was doing anything in 2024, but do you believe the MAGA movement is heading in the right direction, or is there any changes needing to be?
No, the MAGA movement is not heading in the right direction, not even close.
Do you think losing the election maybe points in that direction? Just curious.
The problem is Republicans overall, we are aware Democrats were 7 to 10 years ago, which is bowing down to worldly values and bowing down to the mob. And instead of standing on...
Basically, he's mad that Republicans are less homophobic, openly. They're still very transphobic, but homophobia... less in fashion amongst the GOP these days, because it turns out they lost that part of the culture war too. Fun stuff.
What I thought the values, the reason I even started looking at Republicans is because I went to Ted Cruz's website and he was talking about God and conservative values, socially and economically. And the problem is now we're losing those values and we're actually catering and bowing down to worldly values in the name of potential votes. And so no, I do. And MAGA is heading that way quicker within itself. So I do not think MAGA is heading the right movement. I don't think we have a set of values that we plan to stand on, and everybody has something different, which is why there's division amongst the MAGA movement. So I don't know what Trump's plan is, but
Trump doesn't have a plan. His plan is to grift as much money off of people like you and your fans as he can, and then he's gonna die because he's old, and his kids are gonna continue to do the same shit, and you're probably gonna give him money because you're stupid.
Like I said in my song, 2024 don't care about those questions until we fix what's going on in the present. We had an election. How can I say this without getting banned on YouTube?
Ooh, is he gonna say a bannable thing? Fun.
We had an election taken from us.
We lost an election. Say it with me, Bryson. We lost. I don't think that was bannable.
It is actually. YouTube made it so if you promote election conspiracy theories or claim
he wasn't promoting a conspiracy theory. We had it taken from us is not saying the same thing as...
The bot at YouTube can determine that, I guess.
And we sat in...
Pyromancer with 20 bits and a link.
No thanks, bro.
Allowed it and complained from the sidelines and was waiting on other people in the GOP to stand up for us.
How's Bryson not been banned yet? I don't know. A lot of people get away with a lot of stuff on YouTube.
And they all voted. And if you want to be blatantly honest, I feel like Trump didn't do the greatest job of stopping it either, because he put a lot of these people in positions like Amy Barrett in the justice system. She's coming out with a book. She wrote a book. She got enough time to write a book, but didn't have the time to look at the evidence of the fraud. So I think everybody deserves some blame, including all of us. I'm sorry for the long answer, by the way.
One more question for you, Mister. I hope you continue to do what you do. You said you're from North Carolina, so if you keep doing what you're doing, I figure eventually you'll probably affect the next election for governor, so we can get Roy Cooper. I believe he's in out of there.
Oh, Roy Cooper. Listen.
The idea of Bryson Gray affecting any election makes my heart hurt. Bardlock Moses says, YouTube is trash. It's the answer to so many questions.
I still have a house in Greensboro, North Carolina, but I'm currently in Tennessee. And Tennessee just passed constitutional carry. I don't know about you, but I can't even see Roy Cooper doing something like that. I cannot stand Roy Cooper. We need to get him up out of there and get somebody in that's going to actually stand up for something.
Well, I'm pretty informed on local stuff and how he marched with BLM, but I kind of figured that considering I'm from Randolph County, so.
Yes, sir, Randolph County. I love it. Is it see Mark Robinson? I like Mark Robinson. He two-way. I don't know if you're asking about this, but I have like good equipment. I just bought a Newman mic, and I have an Apollo Twin. Yes. Oh, you're talking about the Yes, sir.
We had some pictures taken together.
I love it. So, I mean, Milo will also preach to you the negative effects of that lifestyle. So we need people like that. Yeah. But what we don't need is somebody, I don't care if they left that lifestyle or not, but is still trying to look at that lifestyle as something to be praised or something like that. No, I can't align with anything ungodly.
A certain level of infiltration to steer the party a certain direction.
Yes,
that's what I've been concerned with too.
Yes.
So the question becomes: do we go out and evangelize and try to convert voters, or So this is the problem in the MAGA movement for me. You know what I mean? Because I kind of came into the Trump movement the same way you might have.
His problem is that the MAGA movement is too inclusive of the LGBT community. Oh no.
Or
a little more Christian side of things.
Yes.
And I like the way Donald Trump fights. Whether you're talking the Chinese embargo, which I think is probably the best foreign policy that we've seen in decades. One of the best.
A trade embargo is the best move in decades. Speedy Yoshi says, does Bryson not understand when he says this lifestyle that's the exact same argument people made against black people like him? Oh, I just don't approve of black people or interracial. Bryson doesn't care. Bryson does not care. Bryson has not thought that far. He is unable to compare civil rights for minority racial groups to rights for people in the LGBT community. It's not something he's capable of considering.
Hands down. Nixon, you can go all the way back in history. That single foreign policy is one of the best right there. The tariff on China. Fair trade. So certain aspects, I love the guy, but then other things, I'm like, what's he doing? You know, so this is the crux of the party.
Yes.
You know, socialists. I'm not going to cave on pro-life more. I mean, I would no more give up on pro-life. If it can happen to them, it can happen to me, and no one's safe in that aspect. So I'm never going to.
Tomorrow I might wake up as a fetus, and then what'll happen?
Bow on pro-life ideals, which is also Christianity.
Yes.
Because if we're not allowed to follow God's law, we're all dead.
We're all dead. Yes,
and that's what matters.
And my problem with the Trump campaign promoting this Trumpist pro-gay agenda, the problem with that is it's mathematically just not a good idea.
He has the brain power of a fetus, so you can see why he's worried.
Oh, if I'm not mistaken, when I did the research, not even 1 million gay people voted for Trump. But I feel like Trump lost a lot of the white vote, and I can only just assume that a lot of those were Christians. Because a lot of Christians have told me they decided they couldn't vote for Trump because they were pushing his pro-gay agenda, which is
why is he talking about like gay issues like it's 1995? Gay marriage has been legal for 6 years. People don't care. They've gone on to villainizing trans people.
It's weird because if you look at the actual laws, the actual policies Trump passed
you're right.
Regarding LGBT issues, it was all anti-LGBT. Like the actual policies passed were all anti-LGBT.
I would agree, but he did the stupid thing where he was like, look, I got a rainbow flag. And people like Milo were like, yay, see, he loves gay people. Bardlock Moses says he lost because he was shit at his job. Yeah.
But they wanted
military.
Exactly. But they wanted to pander to homosexuals for what? Not even 1 million votes? I think that is mathematically.
I don't. Surprise.
The worst promotion idea I've ever heard in my life.
Five Nights at Freddy's and Steven Universe are older than gay marriage. That puts it in perspective.
The problem is the left already has those people. So what we need to do is get the probably equal amount of people in the country that don't want their kids to grow up in that type of environment. Kids.
In reality? Does he think he can wish gay people out of existence? Because that's not how it works.
People
addicted to drugs, it's a one-way street, man. And you're absolutely right.
Exactly. So if conservatives just decided like, hey, we're going to actually stand on these values and do not bow to the mob, they will get way more votes, even from black people. Because black people, even with the studies, even though I can't stand studies, even the studies show that black people are the most homophobic community in the country. But at the same time, they're all voting for the left. And it will be way easier.
It's almost like people don't typically put hating one specific group of people and hurting them at the top of their political priorities list. Weird.
Easier pitch if conservatives actually stood on something. Like, you know.
Christian ground. I agree with you. So that's why I'm glad to see Mark Robinson here as lieutenant governor. I spoke with his office.
Okay.
Fucking yikes.
Here we go. Watching this is like 280 people.
Okay, I'm done with Bryson.
Thank God.
How do people listen to him for like an hour at a time? There are 3 episodes so far, by the way. Episode 2 is an hour and 40 minutes long. Okay.
There was nothing.
Nope. All right. Let's do the other choice.
You really don't know how to wear it.
They don't stay in. They slide around and... Okay, it's time for the Elliot Hulse video. This, I think he's going to go full conspiracy theory because the title is Beware the New World Order. Let's see how Elliot's doing.
if you're not following the party line, if you're not doing what you're told, if you're not being a good boy, you'll get cut off. You'll get cut off from the currency. You'll get cut off from Amazon. You'll get cut off from PayPal. You get cut off from the banks. You'll get cut off by these private companies that we rely on, and the government is not there to protect us as a result.
I like that right-wingers have spent the last 40 years trying to stirrup away the government's ability to rein in large corporations, and now that large corporations are banning right-wing extremism from their platforms, whether it be Twitter or Facebook or PayPal or whatever, now all of a sudden they're like, why isn't the government protecting us from these corporations? What has happened? I've suddenly forgotten everything that happened after Reagan was elected. Nick says, beware the new stream boss order. Thanks for the bits. And Chaotic Star Whale says, Hannah, what do you think is more sad? Trump 2020 flags or Trump 2024 flags? Oh, 2020. At least 2024 is a theoretical possibility. The Trump 2020 flag is like, it's like flying a pro-Vietnam War flag in 2020. It's just like, really? We know better.
Yo, Elliot.
The Canadian government is printing cheap cash, and it's sad to think my savings, which are tied up in American and Canadian markets, are dwindling in value even as the numbers climb. Should I stockpile cash under my mattress or stockpile the goods that cash will provide, mainly food, I guess, or should I invest in some cryptocurrency? Caveat before I answer this question, I am not an expert in finance, not even a little bit. I can give you some, cut and paste answers that I know a lot of people are into these days. Gold is going up in values, precious metals, Bitcoin's going up, but
Didn't Bitcoin have a crash?
Yeah, it did.
Because
Elon said that he wasn't gonna.
Yeah. It's still at pretty all-time highs. It's not like... But Elon has said that he's going to no longer take Bitcoin for Tesla, and it crashed it a little bit.
Sign a waiver. I'll give you a waiver on this one. Do not take my advice on that. But I am thinking about the future. There is hyperinflation coming to the U.S. and to Canada and probably throughout the world.
There's going to be some inflation because of the large amount of cash that was influxed into the economy during COVID, which I find funny, too, that a lot of people are blaming Biden for that, even though a lot of that happened under the Trump administration. Most of that happened under the Trump administration, in fact. They were trying to keep the economy from collapsing, but the rebound effect of that is going to be that there's going to be inflation. It's not great, but... That's why you need to adjust other things in kind. You need to raise wages in order to compensate for the new inflation. Andrew Batella says, but we didn't make those laws for pro-communist companies. And then Blackwing Hecate says, my reaction to that Bryson video, and probably also this one.
Yeah, well, that's just like...
your opinion, man.
Your opinion, man.
And one of the things we can do is we can look to countries who have experienced hyperinflation and how those people dealt with it.
We are not experiencing hyperinflation. We are experiencing regular inflation, which is something that happens all the time, and then certain events can exacerbate it or push it forward more quickly than it typically would. But hyperinflation has a pretty specific definition, and we are not within that grouping.
And I want to make a book recommendation. I'll tell you a little bit about it, but it's this book here. When I read your question, I pulled this out of my library, Surviving the Economic Collapse. And it's written by Furfal Aguirre. He also has a YouTube channel, and it's based on firsthand experience of the 2001 economic collapse in Argentina. And he goes on to explain why it's important for Americans, North Americans, to read a book like this, because Argentina is a very industrialized country. You can see economic collapse in certain countries that are maybe a little less like the U.S. and Canada, but apparently, according to him, Argentina was right up there with it. It was just like an extension of the U.S. It was a very, very wealthy country, and then overnight there was economic collapse. And he goes on into why those things happen, and it has a lot to do with. It mirrors what's going on in our countries right now, but he gives practical advice on what to do when the collapse comes. And he gives not just financial advice, but lifestyle advice and things to take consideration of, right? Like, so for example, when hyperinflation hits and the prices of food goes up, crime goes up. And so there's an entire section on, preparing yourself.
It's almost like the starting point of crime is usually when people are poor and desperate. Maybe we should take that information and apply it to us on normal days and try and reduce poverty in any way we can, so we can try and reduce the starting point of crime. Weird. To basically understand that systemic issues cause larger issues for society, but also not wanting to tackle those issues because it would be socialist or communist or whatever they think it is this week.
For the coming crime waves. He says, all of a sudden, crime is just going to start, where there was none, it's just going to start creeping in, right? Even if you live in a safe neighborhood, people are desperate. And when they're desperate, they're going to do desperate things. And so as a result, you have to protect yourself and you have to protect your family. So he gives advice on everything from how to protect your home, right? We want to think in terms of being able to protect our home, how to protect your body. This is part of the reason when I bought this book, that's when I got into firearms. He was like, you should train yourself on firearms. And if you live in a country where you can carry firearms, you should carry firearms, especially if you notice that this hyperinflation is coming, it's hitting, and bad things are on their way. He also goes into how to prepare your vehicle, and he says you should take defense driving courses. He talks about the type of crime that started becoming very popular in Argentina after the collapse, which was carjackings, essentially, where you'd be driving and then somebody would, they'd block you off with a car, and this was just happening like every day, all the time. And he says you should take some defensive driving classes so that you can learn how to swerve and get out of the way when these guys, are trying to carjack you.
Joe Biden's been in office for like 4 months, and these people think that all of a sudden we're going to turn into a Mad Max hellscape.
In it, he talks about where to live. If it's better to be in the country. He talks about home security.
People understand defensive driving anyway.
And then, of course, stockpiling, right? Like what food to store, how to store your water. When I got this book, I started storing a whole lot of water. I just threw it all away.
Logarth says, how about instead of fetishizing the end times, we stop them by paying people more?
So poured out all
no, we
that
can't
water.
do that, though. That's paying people fairly is
and then
socialism.
He has a whole chapter. It may be it is the last section.
Isn't he talking about
it's
a country the U.S. fucked up?
And the new world you live in, and he talks a lot about finances and money.
I wanted to get to that here for you guys. South or Central America, so
of course, he says precious metals will be important. Just based on his advice, he says don't go buy gold bars or like gold, big pieces of gold and shit like that. He says it's better to invest in gold jewelry. This is just his advice.
Chiba Hawk 420, thanks for subscribing.
He says get rings, buy jewelry. He talks about back in the day, like the old Indian dudes, you'll see they would have like 100 chains on them because they would put all their wealth in wearable gold, right? And it's not that you're wearing it for fashion. The reason why he says it's better to buy wearable gold jewelry is because when a barter system will ultimately develop, this is what he says, and you want to be able to, rather than try to trade with gold coins, which if you have gold coins, he says they start becoming, people get suspect. They're like, oh, this guy has gold coins. And wherever there's a gold coin, there's more gold coins. But he says if you have like a gold ring, right? Or if you have a gold necklace.
Why would the same thing not apply to jewelry? If you have a bunch of gold jewelry, people would expect that you would have more of it. If every day you're going to the market to barter and you're bringing different gold rings or whatever, it's the same thing.
He's expecting that people are moving around and they're not going to the same place.
That's not really how most of humanity has existed, though. Like, if there was some sort of societal collapse, which will probably happen someday.
Mad Max.
I know, but that doesn't make any sense. Humans thrive by settling down and starting communities and farming and that kind of thing. Like, nomadic societies exist, but they're not common relative to other types of society. Yeah, city-states and stuff.
You could take off a few links of the necklace and you could trade, right? He says it's better to do that because people will think that you're desperate. If you have gold coins and you're trying to trade with gold coins, people will think that you're wealthy. But this is just his advice, right? It's not my advice, it's his advice. I'm just telling you what he said. He says, but if you have gold jewelry, like pieces that you're selling, that you want to sell as a result, because gold prices will go up and people will barter with precious metals. He says you look more poor. He says you want to look poor. And so by giving away a ring, maybe you go to the pawn shop and you buy rings, gold rings, and you could just kind of like...
If it's Mad Max, what are people doing with gold? They need food. Why would I want gold? I'm starving. Bring me a chicken or oranges, or so I don't get scurvy, or... Like, why would I be like, ah, yes, I will give you precious resources like water. In return, you will give me shiny metal. Thank you.
Like, I'm parting with my dead great-grandmother's ring, right? And
Nick says, gold is very inert. You can't even eat it.
Even though it's a pawn shop ring,
Thank you, Robert Morley.
That person will, maybe even work with you a little bit more because you look desperate, or they just won't think of you in terms of, hey, that guy has gold coins, right? So he says his advice is the best kind of gold and silver is wearable, right? I'm just telling you. If you're the type of person that has hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars that you want to, protect, a better resource for that would be the Sovereign Man. If you go to the website Sovereign Man, he's all about how to protect your wealth. I'm not talking about wealth. I'm talking about survival, to protect your wealth. And so just a side recommendation, look up to Simon Black.
I know. I'm sorry. The videos have been dry today. Adia Blue says, everyone knows the currency of the apocalypse is bottle caps. It was NCR currency until I think the Brotherhood of Steel blew up the mint or something on the West Coast. I don't know.
I think the content is dry because they're the things that they think were going to happen haven't happened, and they're trying to perpetuate
honestly, I think the Chud Watch content has gotten worse because the Joe Biden presidency is relatively boring. I mean, there are things I could talk about Joe Biden that I disagree with, but it'd be pretty dry and boring. And it would just be me being like, oh, I wish you wouldn't necessarily support Israel in this specific way. Or it would be like, I wish you would do these more progressive things. But overall, it's not like it's a disaster every single day, at least in my opinion. So people like John Doyle hasn't put out a video in a month and a half.
Because he's palling around with Dave Rubin.
Is he? I know he was hanging out with someone from The Blaze, and he'd been doing content for that slightly offensive channel, but... Oh, he is hanging out with Dave Rubin. Of course he is. Jesus Christ. There's Johnny with Dave Rubin. Yikes. I somehow lost even more respect for Dave. Adia Blue says, everyone knows the current... Oh, read that one. Logard says, trade in precious metals might work in the Old West Village with an assay office, but where are you going to find someone to value your gold nuggets, right? Pyromancer says, I'll take dry content over Trump being president. Agreed. Millions of people are about to be homeless. I agree. That's bad. It's the result of the pandemic that lasted over a year. Does anyone have any recommendations for Chud Watch? Is there any videos that have come out lately that are pretty bad? If not, I'll do some Conservapedia stuff. What have PragerU been up to?
What about the lady that tried to attack AOC? Anything interesting on that?
I saw the video. There's not really anything other than just yep, she's shitty. Okay, let's take a look at this. This is a PragerU video on how to deal with peer pressure. Let's see how hip with the kids PragerU can get.
Everyone talks about being themselves and not being a cookie-cutter person.
I'm not like most girls. I'm independent from social constructs.
As if they're some sort of pioneer in the Oregon Trail wilderness.
Watch out for dysentery.
Ooh, an Oregon Trail reference. The kids are sure to get that.
Did you know that they just released that as an app?
Oregon Trail? Yeah. I didn't know that. I'll have to download it. Mike Max with a
You want to talk to...
Yeah, this is the... That's the
Crazy...
thing.
This sounds good and all, but they're still following the people they admire and respect. It's impossible to escape the influence of people around us. If you have the right peers, this can be a good thing, but bad peers are lurking in every corner of your life, whether it's at school or on your phone screen. So here are 4 tools to help you deal with peer pressure.
Sure.
Number 1, respect yourself. Most people want others to respect them, so you just do what everyone pressures you into doing. That's how you earn respect.
Respect yourself, unless you're gay or trans or on the left. Then fuck you. One Speedy Yoshi says probably works better for Tuesdays, but check out QAnon Casualties. It's interesting. That would definitely be a Tinfoil Tuesday thing. I am subscribed to that sub. It's pretty sad.
So what I'm gathering from this is peer pressure is bad if it's coming from left people, but peer pressure is good if it's coming from right people.
Obviously, people who are on the right are always correct because they have the power of God and anime on their side. Chaotic Star Whale says, the page's secularized language and liberal denial on Conservapedia are funny if you haven't seen them yet. Okay.
Respect, right?
It's just a little jump, bro.
It's not just peer pressuring, but
people will not respect someone who's easily pressured into doing things. If you want others to respect you, you gotta start by respecting yourself.
Oh my god, they did a Thug Life meme in 2021.
Others to respect you, you gotta start by respecting yourself. Now, this doesn't mean ignoring what everyone else says just to do whatever you want.
Forget Oregon Trail, play Oregon Trail Director's Cut? Why? Retro zombie survival game?
To key in more ways than think.
Oh, Oregon Trail. I assume it's like Oregon Trail, but it's zombies. That's cute.
You're cute.
Madison, what I need you to work on...
Nope! You have to respect me! Unlimited power!
Is that a Palpatine meme?
That's not self-respect. That's a condition called selfish buttness. It's always good to look for ways to help others, and there's always a place for constructive criticism. Respecting yourself means considering what's best for your own well-being before making decisions you're pressured to make.
Hey kid, you wanna rob a bank?
The irony about peer pressure is it really only helps the people pressuring you. But if you respect yourself, you're always going to prioritize what's best for you long term. It's okay to say no. It can actually save your life.
Hey son, stick the fork in here. It'll be fun.
It's so weird watching people who are outside of the social current trying to emulate that social current because it's always outdated shit and it's never funny.
Are a leader, not a sheep, so don't act like one. Number 2, take ownership. All peer pressure does is pressure you to make a decision about something. But your friends cannot make you do anything. It's your decision. And if the decision ultimately belongs to you, then you are responsible for your actions. Now, admittedly, this is easy to ignore. You just think in the back of your mind that if something goes wrong, your friends are gonna be there to get your back. I've got news. They won't. They're too busy covering their own backs. Number 3, friends come and go. You don't. Sometimes it's easy to think that the friends you have right now are your entire world and things will never change. I know it's a little hard to believe and kind of painful to think about, but you will not be where you are right now forever. You're gonna go to a different school. You'll get a different job. You'll move to a different town or country.
I mean, that guy's supposed to be playing like a teenager.
Your world will be turned upside down, and a whole new set of friends may come along, and they'll probably be upside down too. And those friends of the past will be just that, friends of the past. That's not to say that you'll never talk to them again. Your paths might cross again someday. But don't ever let them pressure you into doing something you're gonna regret later.
Hey man,
We should go get tattoos.
Yep. What?
Yes!
Yeah.
Hey guys! I got a tattoo!
Decisions can be permanent.
Are we sure, Prager, you didn't just steal an SNL sketch? No, SNL is funnier than this. The bar is low.
Friends usually aren't. Number 4, choose.
It's funny because he can't get a pink elephant tattoo because he's a guy. Guys can't like the color pink. Blackwing Hecty says, my friend of the past are all friends of Mrs. King. One Speedy Yoshi says, I remember in high school English we had to look at biased content propaganda. They showed us PragerU as an example of propaganda and everyone hated it. This was at my second high school. At my first one, my friend went up to a guy with a Blue Lives Matter shirt and shook his hand and told him how brave he was. I hate living in Idaho. Yikes.
Choose your friends carefully.
You just really like
if you
Dumbo,
run with wolves, eventually you'll start to howl. If you don't want to howl, don't hang with wolves.
We can't be friends anymore.
Whether you like it or not, the people you spend time with rub off on you. So find friends that inspire you to be better. Be better. Ugh. I'm not talking about friends who have more followers or fancy things. That doesn't actually make you better. I'm talking about things like honesty, discipline, and respect. Yeah! Whether you realize it or not, when you surround yourself with these kind of people, you're gonna start acting like them. It's not rocket science. And this is how you make peer pressure work in your favor. They'll be pulling you up instead of down. If you're having a hard time finding friends like this, here's an idea. Find older, more mature people. They're usually easy to befriend and have valuable things to share with you.
Are you an older, more mature people?
Ooh.
Yes.
Good. Remember, you're the one that has to live with your decisions for the rest of your life. Don't make bad decisions for anyone. Your life will only be as good as the decisions you make. So make sure your decisions are truly yours. Thank you for watching this how-to video for Prager.
Now let us tell you why capitalism is the greatest system ever invented by man and it has no fallibility. Fuck PragerU. Does he think that most people's friends are werewolves? Mine are. Obviously.
Why would you tell my secret like that?
You're not a werewolf, you're a vampire. My platonic friends are werewolves. You're my girlfriend, you're a vampire.
How dare you tell me what I can and can't be?
It's Twilight rules, okay? I don't make them, I just follow them.
It's Twilight rules, you should be dating a man, I guess.
Twilight rules don't care for gender. They care only for what kind of monster you are. YouTube is having me, like, double back out of things now, and I don't know why. I gotta find something to watch for the next, like, 20 minutes.
Why?
I don't know, I just feel like this is a short one so far. We're only at 2 hours and 35 minutes. Oh. It's been so hard to find Chud Watch content recently that's worth a damn. So I gotta at least be a little entertaining for people. That makes me Bella? Yes, it does. You got a problem with that?
Should we just scrap the Chud Watch and we can do like a relationship game? Like chat asks questions and we both write down the answer and we get a point if we get it right.
Oh God, that's... Like someone's got to ask, like, what is your partner's favorite ex? Oh, God. I have such a bad memory. I'm going to get everything wrong.
I know. You confused me with Tori earlier.
Oh, my goodness. That was a mistake, and I apologized.
I
was a mistake. I realized almost immediately. I'm so sorry. Ugh. One Speedy Yoshi says, The Quartering. We need to watch The Quartering. He's my favorite. Whatever internet disease got him obsessed with Brie Larson and you obsessed with him, I got obsessed with you covering him. He doesn't even have anything good, though. I checked his stuff earlier today. Hold on, let me pull him up. Like, it's just, I don't know. He's just talking about, like, Disney's losing revenue. Yeah, because COVID. He's done some shorts on Jordan Peterson. What's the worst chud you've ever seen? Probably Bass FCZ. If I had to say, it's tough. But he's, like, outright sympathetic to murderers just because their victims were women, so... He's got an Anita Sarkeesian video in 2021. Like, who cares? Who cares?
Ocasio, you come to this little thing and you open it up and you whisper into her. Session. This is confession. This is Ocasio confession right there.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I'm an American citizen. I pay your salary through the taxes that you collect from me through the IRS because I'm a tax-paying citizen of the United States. I'm a woman, I'm a female business owner, and I'm proud to be an American woman. And I do not support your socialist policies, and I do not support your murderous abortion policies. As a mother of 3 children, I'm appalled at New York's law for abortion, and it needs to end, and it needs to stop now. You're bringing God's judgment on our country, and I'm against it, as well as...
Hey, how's Matt Gates doing, Marjorie? Call for an uprising.
What I love...
Move in. Oh, here's a Chud channel. Oh, it looks like they are on my list. Interesting. Okay. The problem with female police officers? Yikes. I don't know. Which one?
Jesus, that one.
This?
This is a call for a vaccination.
If you've ever had this feel around just at the beginning, you are an uprising. This is Vax Uprising.
One Speedy Yoshi says, maybe for fun you can watch some of Shu on Head's more chuddier, older videos just to make it clear you don't hate her or anything so her fans don't get the wrong idea. I don't really care for older stuff like that.
Could you imagine how embarrassing?
About Shu?
No, I think they were just saying if I do cover Shu.
Why would you cover Shu?
Because Shu used to be a chud.
Yeah, why would you cover Shu?
I don't know. For content, I don't plan on doing it. It was just a recommendation someone had.
Of a human
Once
being.
we get everyone vaccinated,
Or, be like, to go to a you have to be, or anything like that. I thought it was. I never was like into seriously cheering, screaming. I always used to talk about people going to, and look, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. I never was like into I wouldn't go to a concert and scream, or been to some concerts and stuff. I never stood up and cheered or anything like that. I thought it was embarrassing. But I've been to sporting events.
How dare you have fun at the event you paid for to have fun at? Sit down, you embarrassment. Only children feel happiness.
And cheered. So I'm gonna be a hypocrite. Or be like, it's it is. In hindsight, I look back and say it's pretty embarrassing. But I think we've all been there at some point in our lives, whether you're cheering, in a crowd for somebody walking to get their diploma or something else. Not much more embarrassing than this. These people cheering, "This is Vax Alive!" and they cheer like it's the return of our king. No, it's not that. It's just, it's quite the opposite.
They're having fun at some sort of event.
We're cheering for the old...
Did he misunderstand the Game Grumps joke about the Backstreet Boys reunion tour that locked down the country for the last year?
Old jabberoo. Now, I sat through this Vax Alive thing strictly... I fast forward through some, I'm not going to lie, but I sat through it to do this video so you guys could see it because the prop is unbelievable. It's off the charts. I honestly, All this stuff bothers me so much because it really just bothers me that people are so stupid.
Pyromancer says, I don't know, Call. What you're doing now is pretty bottom of the barrel embarrassing. Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, YouTube lets him make money, though, so...
And, you know, we all can relate to knowing people who are like this, who are this dumb, and they think we're the, crazy and all that stuff, which is fine. They can think what they want, but in reality, we're just looking at them going, I can't believe, I know this person who's this dumb, whether it's a relative or a friend or someone like that. But this is one of the funniest events I've ever seen in my life. I've never...
Nick says, I seem to vaguely remember school admins getting pissed when family members hooted and hollered during my high school graduation.
Yeah, they were all told to shut up until the end.
Yeah, I think that was the policy at my school, too. I think a lot of it's probably like...
We're going to be here for 8 hours if everyone cheers every single time someone...
Yeah.
I've never seen such prop shoved down your throat. Now, I tried to upload specific clips, and it was blocked worldwide by YouTube, some of the clips, so they probably don't want anyone doing videos critiquing this whole thing.
They probably also don't want you using their copyrighted material. Kind of depends on...
He takes people's shit all the time.
Oh, I know he does, but I'm just saying YouTube apparently doesn't want him to on this particular case.
So I wouldn't be surprised if I get a strike, but, if you edit it right and cut it right, the algo can't read it, so that's kind of how I get around doing that stuff. So bear with me as I show you some of these clips. But this is the cringiest / funniest thing I've seen in such a long time, because I've never seen such watered down propaganda ever, where it's laughable, and you know that they're sitting there laughing their butts off, that people are buying in, that people are... I mean, it couldn't...
There was some television event where it's Vax Live, and they did, concerts for...
I'm not confused about what this is. I'm confused because Call just spent the first 3 minutes saying, oh, it's like propaganda, it's full of propaganda, and now he just called it watered down propaganda. Yeah. That's stupid. It's like, which one is it? Is it, a ton of propaganda, or is it watered down propaganda?
I think he just means watered down and that he thinks it's weak sauce. He's gonna be like, this is such, they're trying so hard, but they're saying so little, or some dumb bullshit.
I'm just saying that he's not conveying himself very well.
Oh, sure. Well, he's crazy. Blackwing Hecate says, to paraphrase Roger Ebert, this YouTuber isn't the bottom of the barrel. He's not below the bottom of the barrel. He doesn't even deserve to be mentioned in the same sentence as barrels.
Be more social engineering ever in one event at the same time within the same 90-minute time period. And of course, this entire event is brought to you by YouTube. Now, I just want to remind you, because I did a video already on this. I wanted to separate the two, Prince Harry and President Joe, where I take the clips of them at this event because they're constantly pushing it, saying to trust them. Pretty unreal. It's on my blue background channel, so please watch it if you haven't. Not many people have seen it. It's a really, I don't say like some of my videos are good, but I mean, it's a pretty good rant. I was on a roll in that one, so definitely listen to it. If you have time, put it on the background and just listen to it. You gotta hear what they're saying and listen to the video. So that's my blue channel, and I'll have that linked up below the video. Make sure while you're over there, you subscribe to that channel as well. All right, I'm gonna take some of these clips and show you them just clip by clip, because some of the stuff you'll see is so cringy and so embarrassing. Like you just saw the guy coming out on stage, and I don't know, I don't want to guess the preference to where they put things,
Why is he so obsessed with everyone's sexuality all the time? I'm telling you, this guy's got some hang-ups.
Of course he does. People that are comfortable with themselves and their sexuality do not think about other people this much.
No.
I have never, ever, ever thought, oh, what do they like to do in bed?
Who cares?
The only thing I care about is what we do in bed, because it's fun.
Yeah.
How do you word that these days? The highway from Hershey, right? We'll call it that. How obvious the four people who opened the show. Yeah, I wonder what they are, right? They got, floodgates opening. Their socks are so high, and but they're cheering. This is it. So we start. Let's take a look. J-Lo comes out.
Married, except for The guy on the right.
Out. And she lets us know she hadn't seen her mother in a year. Yeah, right, huh? Yeah, we're all going to believe that. Hadn't seen her mother in a year, but she's proud to say that Monty got the old jabby. And,
why is that unbelievable? If her mother is old and she was in a high-risk group, it's responsible that she would not be seeing her mother until she was vaccinated. Ideally, until they both are. You didn't. You hugged your parents for the first time the other day in like a year.
Yeah, Mother's Day. It was. I hadn't hugged my parents. I hadn't been within 6 feet of my parents. I hadn't seen my parents without a mask on in over a year. And on Mother's Day, we had all been vaccinated, and it had been a long enough time that we could get together safely. Like...
Yeah, let's take a listen.
You know, I didn't even get to spend Christmas with my mom this year. First time in my whole life. We've been away too long. But she's here with me tonight, and she's vaccinated.
Yes, there's no persuasion here about getting back to quote-unquote normalcy, right?
I mean, it's literally that, Call. It's a fun, not even a fundraiser. It's just like a event to be like, go get vaccinated, please.
For the love of God, go get vaccinated.
It's not being subtle about it because it's not trying to trick you. It's trying to tell you, hey, this is important. You know how the past year has been a fucking nightmare? Go get this so we can go back to some sense of normality.
Funny thing.
The number of people that I know that, like, are from the city that I went to high school in that are refusing to get vaccinated makes my blood boil.
Yep, people are stupid, and unfortunately, they get egged on by dangerous idiots like a call for an uprising.
And I have a feeling it's going to get worse because they're lifting mask restrictions in Michigan for people that are vaccinated. People that aren't vaccinated are still not going to wear a mask.
Yep.
They're just going to be like, oh, I'm vaccinated.
It's bad shit. It's going to be bad.
Thing about yesterday is I'm sure.
I can't wait till 6 months from now when all the dumb anti-vaxxers produce a new variant of the virus that I'm not protected from because they'll mutate it enough by spreading it amongst themselves. That'll be fun.
Most of you heard how the CDC is, you know, oh, you don't have to wear masks if you have the jab now. Just like I said, would be the case.
Of course it would be the case, you dumb fuck. That's how vaccines work, you absolute moronic cheesy fart.
Did you just call him a cheesy fart?
I couldn't
Jesus
think of
Christ.
anything else.
Cheesy fart. Okay, that's a new one.
Like, I couldn't think of anything that was... There's just nothing enough to explain how exasperated I am with a call for an uprising.
Yeah.
Be a way of forcing people to get it without telling them they have to do it because, you know, or like, you know, they're not going to go, you're going to go to jail if you don't get it. They're just going to go, all right, can't work. You can't buy. You can't sell. You can't travel. You can't go here. And you could be a prisoner in your
private. You wear a fucking mask, you dumb piece of turd.
Pretty much, different businesses are probably going to cause their employees and require them to have it. Wouldn't surprise me. That's a liability thing. And private businesses have always been able to tell you to wear a mask if they so chose. So that's not different.
Your home, which you made a prison cell by all the technology that we told you should buy. And now it's all stuck in your home and we're listening to 24/7.
Prison to technology. That's so ironic considering the past year would have been even more insufferable if it weren't for the fact that we were able to all connect with each other using our technology, that we couldn't, like, collectively enjoy things that became memes and sort of still have this, like, how do I put this? Like, remember early in quarantine when it was, like, Tiger King memes, and even though we're all apart, we can talk about this dumb show that we all watched together. What's up?
Ban them.
Oh, no.
They also said some other shit. Ban them.
Okay. Yeah, I got him.
Goodbye,
and no big deal there, right? So you heard the print.
Like, not.
Why?
Because they want a reaction. That's the entire point of trolling.
Uh-huh.
You don't say anything and you ban him and you move on.
Or I can call him a dumb fuck.
And then he'll be like, ha ha ha, triggered the lib.
Uh-huh. I don't care.
Great. Pyromancer says, Target arranged for appointments to get the vaccines and paid us 2 hours of pay per dose. Oh, that's pretty nice.
Prince Harry stuff, but the Selena Gomez stuff, to me, is hilarious. She talks about how everyone there has gotten the jab, and she can't help herself but laugh at the fact because, I don't know, what jab did they get? The old H2O? I don't know.
Get ready for something.
The old H2O? No, they probably...
She has lupus. Of course she got vaccinated.
Incredible music and some fully vaccinated friends joining us on stage. First up, let's go outside to Kevin Frazier on our own vaccination site.
Oh, Selena. And I mean, what a shock what Selena Gomez is wearing.
Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can figure out what it's going to be. Let me look at my list of stuff that he says is Freemason stuff. Is it the triangles? Are triangles
black and white? Yeah, black and white.
Black and white?
Yeah.
Is triangles also a thing? Hold on. Diamonds. Diamonds are on the list. So it's probably black and white and diamonds is what he thinks.
No big deal, right? I have tons of videos on her. I believe Selena is Disney. She's Disney, right? Disney, Nickelodeon. Sometimes I get them confused with her and Ariana Grande, but Disney mind control puppet. They bring them in at a young age, groom them with the young kids. They grow up. She grows up with them. Still makes, crappy music. And, these people are used as their, they're false idols, but also at the same time, they're indoctrinators. They listen to their opinion. They're like, oh, I grew up, Selena wouldn't steer me wrong. And she's got this black and white checkerboard on. Yeah.
At a Disney Channel star that I grew up watching and thought, yes, please give me advice for literally anything in my life.
What about the guy from Cory in the House?
I don't know who that is.
That's a coincidence, right? I only cover that in every video.
What about the guy from That's So Raven that went to jail?
I don't know who that is. Cory in the House and That's So Raven, that would be the same person, right?
The guy who went to jail from That's So Raven is not the same guy. Actor who played Eddie on Disney's That's So Raven jailed. Authorities say former Disney star Orlando Brown has pleaded no contest in Las Vegas to reduce charges in 2 criminal cases and remains jailed pending trial in misdemeanor domestic battery cases.
When was this?
2018.
Do an expose on the black and white, the esoteric nonsense, as above, so below. No big deal. There's only a Mason Lodge in every town in America, and the floor happens to have the black and white checkerboard. The Kardashians, everyone else, we see it over and over. So she's wearing that conveniently as she's laughing and telling people about getting the jab. And then this was my favorite part. I was on the ground. I mean, first of all, the guy who's doing the interviewing, I couldn't be more. This is the kind of stuff that makes me so embarrassed to be a human. Like, I would wish that this guy would hear me.
Because a call for an uprising makes me embarrassed to be a human.
Yeah.
Or let me cut a promo on him.
Mike Mack says, Call, why are you still on Vax? Dihydrogen monoxide is where it at. It kill people every day and the government allow it.
How humiliating. He's like, hey.
Should checkerboard specifically be added to the list? I thought I had that or something similar. Oops, that's the Chud Watch Hall of Fame. Sorry. Did I not have checkers on here? I'm gonna say that just counts under black and white. I don't know. What do you think? Should that be a separate thing? Sounds like a no.
So they have these cars pulling up. These are people who are showing up at their jab site to get.
Yeah, Automod grabbed your message. I approved it, but now I don't see it.
It said it got I don't know.
The jab, and this kid's like, yeah, I'm getting mine, and listen for yourself.
Troy actually drove his son Trey here to get his second shot.
I think the first thing I'm gonna do is go to the movies.
Oh, I'll buy the.
His voice sounds so similar to the son from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Pop. Corn, let's go together, man.
This an editing snafu? Did he mean to leave this, like, blank section? That's a mistake. Gotta tighten up that editing call. Gotta proof watch. You gotta watch through it once before you upload.
Can you be more...
Like listening to his own voice.
I mean, seriously. To be a human being is so humiliating now. The people are falling for that, and just even the way these social engineers act, right? They're just so soft, and it's just pathetic. Then he can go back to the movies now.
But it's not pathetic to be afraid of literally everything like Paul is.
I'm a big, strong man who can't be told to take any medicine. I'm courageous. Oh my god, is that a checkerboard on the floor? Ah!
I wonder what Cole did for his 33rd birthday. Like, did he not allow himself to be 33? Did he just, like, skip over it?
I don't know. It's hard to tell because usually birthdays are something you celebrate with friends, so when you don't have any, they kind of pass you by and you don't think about it. This is just the let's dunk on call for an uprising video, I guess.
I can't wait. He's getting...
Mike Mack says, why don't conspiracy theorists use celebrities outside of the U.S.? I would imagine because they only know American celebrities for the most part. I don't know.
His last jab, his daddy brought him to this show. His dad, I'm sure we got a young DeMolay here with his father. Of course, if you don't know DeMolay or Freemasonry or any of those things, you should go through my video catalog of videos, I should say, exposing those things for those of you who wonder how some of these events occur at schools all the time, because they go, well, how could a kid be? Called DeMolays. They're called Rainbow Girls, Job's daughter. So check them out. But, this guy's like, I'd love to take you to the movies. And I'm sure you would. What's even funnier is...
I gotta look this up. I'm so confused. Hold on. Rainbow Girls Masonic? The International Order of the Rainbow Girls is a Masonic youth service organization which teaches leadership training throughout community service. Young women learn about the value of charity and service through their work and involvement with their annual local and grand service projects. So it's basically an affiliated organization with Freemasonry, but for young women. Is he insinuating that the young women who are in the Order of the Rainbow for girls, does he think they're secretly trans or something?
I don't know. I have to go check on the cats.
Okie dokie. Blackwing Hecty says, I think we had something mentioning the Daughters of Job before, possibly. Mike Back says, when does this become a mental illness? A while ago.
So I don't know if I can play this clip. I might have to take the volume up, but some woman singing just an absolutely awful song. They, usually at these concerts, they cut to the crowd cheering and all stuff. They're cutting to all these people who are showing up to get the jab. There is no mind control being used here, folks. Of course, as this person sings inside of this massive ritual circle.
All circles are ritualistic. End of stream commercial cleanse. Thank you. Blackwing Hecty says, I imagine it was a previous call video, come to think about it. Probably.
Don't be confused, right? I mean, that's not a ritual circle. That's just,
It's not. It's a circle, you stupid asshole. Anytime I see a circle with someone in it, it's a ritual circle because reasons.
It's normal. It's a stage. It's a round circle, right? You could even see here a clip of it at the end.
Here's something amusing from the old Christian show that was a knockoff of SNL called Fire by Night. The link takes you directly to it. It's a Batman parody. Oh, good God. No, this has a ton of copyrighted stuff in it. That's true.
Where they show it and it looks like the eyeball, but that's more, black and white. Yep, I'm just a crazy nut.
Circles, black and white, and eyeballs are all symbols of Satanism or something.
Not just like you guys, right? Because it's just the same thing every day. We see it everywhere.
Because you think everything is a satanic symbol or a Freemason symbol or something. When you pick out 1,000 different things that are all like Freemason symbols to you, then you're gonna see them a lot because you picked really mundane bullshit that gets used in design all the time. When you're as broad as circles and diamonds and the colors black and white, the two most common colors ever, these are all satanic, you're gonna come across them a lot. You've set yourself up for this shit, Call.
Of course, the Pope pops up for a little bit because he wants to let us know that we all need to get it. I won't even get too deep into that because it's so over the top obvious. It's a
black and white are shades, not colors. I don't need your pedantry here.
Waste of time. We get Sean Penn and some of these other celebrities showing up telling you why you need to get it because we care so much. My favorite part I don't know what part made me laugh the most, but Eddie Vedder comes out. Eddie Vedder of I don't even know what band fame Eddie Vedder is. But I personally know who Eddie Vedder is based off of all the research and work I've done on the West Memphis 3. And by research, it doesn't mean watching a one-sided propaganda piece created by HBO, which is owned by the same people who are in the occult and satanic, who went out of their way to create a hit piece, or the opposite of a hit piece, to free three young teens who...
The girls, like, fucking shit up.
Gotcha.
They weren't even... Cassie is upstairs in the window and Lou's in the bedroom.
Thank y'all. Blackwing Hecty says Tom Kenny, the voice actor. Do you mention Tom Kenny? I didn't hear him.
Killed three young children, and were caught with blood contracts to Aleister Crowley and all these things, and they created a propaganda piece to say it was based off the fact they listened to Metallica, they wore, black and white clothing, all that stuff. Now these guys are free. Eddie Vedder and Johnny Depp are one of the reasons they're free. No shock there. And the guy, what he does now, Damien Eccles, the main thing he does now is he openly teaches black magic. So, nothing to see there, folks. Everyone's like, I have so many people who are awake who watch my channel, and they still won't get into that. They're like, yeah, but, because the documentary is called Paradise Lost. Everybody fell for it when it came out, including myself when it came out. I didn't know about this stuff. I mean,
Thrash Mio says, Bible says pi is 3, so of course a closed circle requires the devil's magic.
I didn't know my whole life. I wasn't awake my whole life. None of us were.
For those who don't know, the Bible mentions pi one time, but they don't use 3.1 for it. It just refers to pi as 3.
They literally create a documentary where they're making these kids look innocent. It's like, it's completely one-sided. And then when you...
Chaotic Starwell says, in the Bible, God said pi equals 3, but then Satan corrupted it and made it a confusing irrational number. That's why circles are satanic.
You wake up and you're like, oh, they had a blood contract with Aleister Crowley. They had his books in his home. His books was talking about sacrifice and Joe. No big deal.
I have Aleister Crowley books somewhere in here. I also have a lot of Christian books. People just have books, Call.
You also have satanic books.
Yeah, Aleister Crowley is related to some... Well, no. I guess no. I'm thinking of Anton LaVey. I think I have some Crowley bullshit somewhere, though. Fair enough.
Folks, no big deal. And then Hollywood stars come out of the woodwork to help them because the documentary inspired them. Clearly, the people who were involved were so connected highly to the occult, and they also wanted to send a message out there and show what they can get away with and what they can do. And that's what happened. So these kids are still gone, and there's no person, and people are like, well, the stepdad's involved, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure Eddie was there himself personally. But you get Eddie Vedder telling everyone that we need to make this, everyone needs to get it now, just like all the celebrities. This might actually be my favorite part. They talk about frontline workers a lot. Like, we're all supposed to bow down and kiss people's rear ends. Like, have you gone to the grocery store and say, heroes work here? Like, really? Well, because you're scanning my food and it's being bagged?
Because they're out, probably because they need the money, but because they're working and have been working during a global pandemic and were exposing themselves to a ridiculous number of people every single day and raising the chances of them catching COVID. That would be why. Being intentionally obtuse doesn't make you look smart. It makes you look like a dickhead. Nick says there's a better chance of Call being there personally.
I mean, let's relax. Are we really working up these people that they're heroes? There's one hero that's ever lived in this world, and that's Jesus Christ. Everyone else...
dude. So, sorry, Call.
Else is a peasant and a fool, and anyone who thinks they're a hero or calls themselves one is a total fraud. And for people, yes, these frontline workers. Well, this is the funniest part, probably, because we have the people who produce toilet paper, but you know what? They probably are our biggest heroes. Giant. I don't know if these are toilet paper rolls for Kamala Harris. I don't know. They're really, really large. Maybe Michael Obama. I don't know. But, I mean, I guess we all could use a roll like that after, if we ever hit up T-Bell or something. But they're heroes too, folks. They want everyone to feel like they're a hero. I have to cut a lot of the stuff because they won't let me put a lot in.
I think there was probably a historical.
But again, one of my favorite parts too is Selena.
People that the stories of Jesus are based off of.
Sure.
I don't think that they were all one person.
Sure. It's not really relevant to me either way, just because I don't.
Oh,
it
yeah,
wouldn't make
I
a
don't
difference. I don't
care.
believe in the divinity of Jesus, so it doesn't matter. But it's interesting to think about.
Selena Gomez crying and pleading with people to get the.
Jake might be writing. Nice. Mr. Fred Rogers says, "Am I doing this right? P.S. Hannah, you're wonderful. Been a fan forever. Just made a Twitch account. Though keep killing it, friend. Thank you."
Jab.
If you're on the fence about getting vaccinated, if you don't think you need it to protect yourself, I'm not going to lecture you. I'm going to beg you. Please, please get vaccinated. For your family, your neighbors, and every single person you come in contact with.
I mean, these people are so unbelievable. When we do the same thing and we're outside of places where for Planned Parents and all these places, we're horrible people because we don't let these people make a choice, even though they made a choice when they opened them wide up.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Their legs.
Corn raid? Did the raid happen? I didn't get a notification.
The raid failed, but people.
Oh, the raid failed. Bummer.
And look, I understand sometimes there's circumstances that happen with
Jake. Thank you.
Uncontrollable
for,
things like forced upon. I get it. But when we see any of that, we're horrible people, one-tracked view, it's not a living thing, that kind of stuff. But when it comes to the jab, we're supposed to want to do this to our bodies and put this in and trust in Big Brother.
Because it affects other people, Call.
Brother who, comes out and says, yeah, well, we don't even really know because they don't want to be liable, they don't want to get sued, and they don't want an uprising. And that's really what they should be getting.
No, so would I.
Yeah.
And, all right, I have to put this part in too.
Yeah.
I can't stand the Foo Fighters. Obviously, for those of you who are deep into conspiracy, everyone's aware of what happened with Nirvana, okay? The fact that this band exists is because of the sacrifice that was made by this lead singer to, what's his name off the top of my head? I can't even think of it. But the head singer of Nirvana, everyone knows who he is. This guy gets shoved down our throat. Nobody could name a song that these people have sung. I mean, you really can't. Maybe you can name one song. They act like this is like the modern day Beatles sometimes. Like nobody cares.
I've literally never heard anyone refer to the Foo Fighters as anything close to the modern day Beatles. Jesus Christ. Nick says he should really be called a call for a slander.
And no one wants to hear it. But they come out, they put on their awful song. People's ears probably bleed.
What does what mean?
What you just said.
A call for a slander?
Oh, I thought you said slanter.
And
Chapoman, thank you for subscribing for 12 months. Happy Streamiversity. Happy Hanniversary.
And I just thought this was the most embarrassing thing. Most of you should know ACDC, what it stands for at the Antichrist, but
ACDC is called ACDC because alternating current and direct current, and also it might have been a pun on something else, but I don't remember. But it's not Antichrist. What are you doing? Blackwing Hecty says, at least it's not one of those weirdos who thinks Kurt Cobain faked his death and is living as Rivers Kumo. I didn't even know that was a thing.
But just listen to this.
It's pronounced Akadaka.
Ha! Anyone's ears bleeding?
God damn Australians.
That music? It's insane.
Yes, Back in Black is considered one of the most popular songs of probably... If we had to make a top 500 songs of the 20th century, Back in Black's probably on that list. People like Back in Black. Just because you don't call doesn't mean other people don't. You clearly have bad taste. I'm scratching my foot.
I mean, what in the world? Do these people have self-awareness? They realize how horrible they sound, or are they just rubbing it in to us that, you know, these are the rich? And I mean, good grief, if I was that guy, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to have to... What?
AC/DC equals all cheer, dancey children.
I just play a voice track. I'm not going to come out and sing anymore. I sound really sick and strange. And then we get saving the best. Well, I shouldn't say saving the best for last. The whole thing is just a total mess. No idea who Chrissy Teigen is, but she's a real truther, apparently.
They have stepped up in this moment in history and every other moment to see us through. So if you haven't already, get vaccinated.
Is Cave 90 years old? I assume that's supposed to be Call. Is Call 90 years old mentally? He's a super boomer. Mr. Fred Rogers says, I don't like something, so nobody should like it. Ree. And Nick says, wait, he didn't reference Highway to Hell? Well, they didn't play that song at the show, so...
Truth teller herself, Chrissy Teigen.
The symbolism wasn't lost on a single woman of color. The most death, illness, and hardship. And we will lead us...
Over under, do you think Call knows? Is he gonna make a snide comment?
About what?
Isn't Chrissy trans?
No.
Who am I thinking of?
I have no idea.
Oh, I guess I thought she was a trans woman for some reason.
out of this mess is what women do. We
Whoops.
build villages everywhere. So let's get this vaccine everywhere.
This is a real truth speaker, a truther. Chrissy Teigen, famous for
Hannah,
no
the
one knows.
transvestigator. That was a mistake on my part. I apologize.
Right? And she's talking about women's empowerment, which is another theme they pushed, was women's empowerment. How women are the ones who are helping change the world with people getting the jab because they're making, giving it to their kids and stuff like that. Meanwhile,
I think I am thinking of the makeup YouTube person because they look kind of.
Tutorials?
They look kind of.
Absolutely nothing alike.
I guess in my head I've conflicted. I've conflated them for some reason.
Not even. Like, Chrissy Teigen has brown hair and brown eyes. Nikki Tutorials has blonde hair, like blonde hair.
I've transposed them in my mind. I don't watch them.
She's got a skirt that's shorter than, pretty much somebody's boxer briefs. And, her breasts hanging out. But
Thanks for making me feel good about it, though. That's good.
we're talking about empowerment, These are wonderful role models who aren't hypocritical at all. And, of course, demanding that you get the jab and do the right thing. So I had to sit through most of this. There's obviously symbolism, the black and white symbolism. Gomez is wearing it. Bands.
It's not symbolism. They're colors.
Throw up some hand symbols and stuff. I didn't want to get deep into that. The whole point of the show is to constantly persuade people. So they would go through all of these things of talking about how you need to get it. To be a good person, you should do it. You can save the world. We're going to rebound. You can have normalcy back. All this crap. Meanwhile, the CDC comes out yesterday and tells everybody that they don't have to wear a mask inside anymore unless they, if they have the jab. Yeah. And certain states and all these stores, like New Jersey's one of the states where they're like, yeah, no, you still have to wear a mask.
They're allowed to do that. Mike Max says, so are white and black people part of the Illuminati? We all are, yes.
And then Walmart, Target, grocery stores, Kroger, Starbucks, places where, where else are people apparently going when they go out?
People go to restaurants, people go to public parks, people go to other people's houses, people go to event centers, people go all over the place. I know you don't have friends who invite you places, but do you only think people go to Walmart and Target?
Obviously places like that, you have to wear it inside. So it's just another way. They're just literally shoving their middle finger in everyone's faces. So the whole thing's laughable. The whole world is insane. If people don't see what these celebrities are trying to do, I've talked about it for years, And like I said, I used to get a lot of crap from people because they'd be like, you just do it for clickbait talking about celebrities. And I said, I'd always say the same thing. I'd say you sit there and you talk about the same type of topics, most of them ripped off for my channel anyway. And they, they're like, yeah, but I don't talk about so and so. These are the reason that people go along with this stuff is because of the social engineering. And people don't get social engineering because they're still like, well, I make decisions on my own. There's still, even truthers who are awake are persuaded by things they see. Trends, clothes, how they dress, how they act, how they talk. This is social engineering.
We live in a society.
I know, he's just defining how human beings work. Human beings like to wear clothes that are relevant culturally. Yeah, people like to wear clothes that look nice, and that's always going to be contingent upon cultural context. Yeah.
That's how it works. This is the job of these people, and that's why they threw all of them out there. That's why they block people like me from speaking, because they want these people to be the ones who influence you. They all happen to have the same opinion. They all care so much. They all showed up at this. You don't hear any celebrities who are anti-jab, of course. No athletes, right? I mean, the whole thing is an utter joke. I wouldn't be surprised if this video gets a strike for no reason, because at this point,
For no reason? You're an anti-vaxxer. If you got a strike, it would be your own fault, not to mention you're ban-evading like 5 times over at this point. You deserve to be stricken.
Everything is. So...
And he's just being a coward about it. He's just talking about how, oh, the vaccine is fucking Freemason, Illuminati, government control or some shit. But he doesn't give any reason, like, legitimately to think that the vaccine is bad, even though there isn't any. But, like, at least if it's Peter was talking about how, like, the vaccines cause infertility. And at least that I can be like, no, actually it doesn't. Here is all this research and, like, how vaccines work. Like, I can tell you the science.
He's just like, here are things. This is bad. This is bad. I know, like, celebrities. I know, like, pop culture.
Yeah.
And he just goes on like that for 20 minutes. It's pathetic. Nick says, call for an uprising is just a psyop developed to get fast Tinfoil Tuesday bingos. That's true. Call is secretly me.
Again, make sure you subscribe to my website at callforuprising.com. It's the only place you'll be able to get me, if these channels keep going down. But make sure you sub to my other 2 channels, the blue background and the yellow and red. I want to thank the Patreons. Please consider becoming one if you're not. Any help, the Teespring store is another way to raise awareness about my channel. People see the shirt, they might check it out. I know it's an old snail, what do you call it? Snail marketing or, guerrilla marketing.
What?
But at this point, the way they're freezing a lot of us from other people seeing us, it's really one of the only ways to go. So check out the Teespring store if you haven't. So I want to thank everyone for being here. This is Vax Live. Yeah. This is a call to literally sound the trumpets, please. I can't wait much longer. Thank you guys for listening again. God bless all of you and your families.
Imagine being such a misanthrope that you're like, literally like, please end the universe, God. I don't like Selena Gomez, so please end the universe. Kirthan says, speaking of the vaccine, I want to say I'm incredibly grateful to the pharmacist who gave my fiance a card with her preferred name on it, in addition to a card with her legal name, especially because she's in the middle of changing it. Not sure if they were supposed to or not. Oh, that was actually pretty sweet. That's nice.
That's really good.
Let's do some cleanse stuff, and then we're probably going to call it a night.
I always use Gentle Orangina.
Yeah, I think this was sent to me before, this creepy video where it's like anthropomorphic animals. No, not watching that again. What do you think I should do for a cleanse?
I have no idea.
altered now for entertainment value.
Sweet little baby.
Let's see who we're gonna raid.
Force those rights.
Let's update this. Let's take some time to update the linky. Give me a second here.
Honey, oh, I haven't done honey mustard.
Hmm.
Why are you
Oh my
eating
gosh, I
onion
love-
rings and ranch?
What do you think?
Because that's the only thing I've ever been offered, and it's how I've grown and just, you know, matured as an adult. And
Onion rings and
never
ranch
had-
is a little too much. I think.
I've never heard of that.
Have you tried it?
No, and I've
That's-
I
never.
probably have.
Property.
Okay, so
As far as
you
real
have no
estate-
property here, so I don't understand. Like, you know, why? How would you possibly succeed?
That's perfect. That's a very good. Again.
All
it's
right,
the
have a good night,
Marxist
everyone.
owning of
I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Well, right now, you're not allowed to. Right now,
yeah.
if you go buy a
Have a
piece
good night.
of land
Chat's
from
valid.
someone,
I'll be back
and
tomorrow
you say,
for
"I
some
don't
sort
want
of
to be
video.
part of the town, I
Not
don't
sure
want
what. Maybe
to,
Sovereign Citizens.
benefit in any way from any of the
And that's it.
supposed
Have a good night.
services that the town provides. I'm not going to send you any money. I'm not going to use your schools,